Hey guys and welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of What If Naruto Was in Teen Titans. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also go and support the author, link in description. Underground, in a dark industrial cavern full of gears and grinds, in a slightly spacious room lay the Konoha team. Ino groaned as she awoke, rubbing her head. I heard of bashing heads together, but that's for ideas, and that idea was bullshit to begin with. Wait, where are we? She looked around, seeing she was in a padded room, and saw Sasuke and Kakashi were medically treated, and they, with everyone else, were resting around her. Are we in a crazy home? They think we are insane. Not quite. Ino gasped and looked behind her to the class door. And it was a girl, young woman actually, and she was wearing a weird costume. The woman was wearing a head wrap wrapping around the top of her head and covering her eyes, nose and around her ears, even with one side black and the other orange, flowing long white hair behind her. Two double-edged swords on her back as she wore a scaled bodysuit and black Kevlar jacket that goes down her front and waist and down the front of her legs as well as back and back of her legs to orange loose cloth leg warmers and boots and orange padded gloves. The woman smirked menacingly. Sorry if the accommodations are a bit bland. When everyone is awake, press the button near the door and I will return. I have something to discuss. Oh, and before you ask, cause I can see how curious you are. Just call me Ravager. Ino looked as Ravager walked away, and wondered who this girl could even be. Whoever she is, she saved us from certain disaster. Who knows what kind of things the government would do to people who never existed in any shape or form till a year ago. Hopefully she's not a villain here. Oh, if she only knew. XXX with Naruto XXX. Damn ice, damn night, damn fucking tight as hell hot suit making me itch all over for no reason, damn resistance. Yeah, good idea Naruto. Just free the cat who brings the psychopathic Sub-Zero loving fucker to jump with his friends and make this a fucking nightmare. I am just glad that Robin and his friends didn't try for my head afterwards. I doubt I could take any more fighting without falling on my face right now. He looked behind him as his clones were carrying Catwoman's pod back to her base. He also saw his tail still going behind him. Maybe it's best to turn back to normal. I don't need the cloak anymore. He let the red aura down and reverted back to himself, but soon after that his leg that he picked up to move forward with stopped and he fell flat on his face. He grumbled. Great, my suit's all fucked up and only the adrenaline and boost from the cloak was keeping me moving. Fucking hell. Oh, there's the base. 5 feet from my face. Great. He saw his clones pass him by, but the end one grabbed his arm and dragged him behind into the base. Sure, not very cool, and would be embarrassing, but he didn't feel like moving. Hell, if anyone wanted to make a crack about this, he'll just show them how much energy he still has left. His clones dragged him into the living room and dropped him before going off to drop Catwoman into the medical bay. He grumbled as he thought of a way to get his team up here. No doubt the fissures of his attacks caused them to take shelter, just in case. They never knew his true strength before, so of course they wouldn't take any chances. He sighed, going with voice command. Computer, enter room communications. He heard the beep shortly and began. Guys, I'm home, city is safe, and you are too. As long as you don't even snicker when you get here. Gizmo, I need you to go to medical and get Catwoman awake, and no Freeze isn't here, in fact he is caught by the Titans. Now, the rest of you can come in here and pick me up. Cheshire, Hive, I need your help taking this suit off me. I can't move. That brought everyone out. Jinx was first to him though. What happened out there? The base was shaking like nuts. Did you go overboard again? Naruto grumbled. As a skyscraper-sized, hard as diamond, walking ice monster requirement enough for me to go overboard. I went 9 tails in order to battle the thing and battle a city full of ice monsters all around me to get to my former friends. Whom I made sure paid a good deal. Though one got away. Not that I mind, she never actually hurt me, but still. She did trap me though. Held Catwoman hostage against me in a way I can fairly say she knows me well enough to stall me. So, anyone gonna help me with this suit? I can't move. Private Hive picked him up. Yes sir. Jinx, Cheshire, come with me. Shigo went with Gizmo to help with the pod, and Kid teleported out to see what's up, sir, so I hope you don't mind. Naruto sighed. I do not. Still, I would rather have this suit of in a few seconds, not a few minutes. Jinx knocked on his helmet. Well you just gotta deal with it for now. And you ain't going to get your suit off till you promise to explain to me what happened out there. Naruto grumbled. Trust me, I need Gizmo's research into everything I have seen tonight. Trust me when I say, what happened tonight is just the beginning, and we will need to be prepared for the worst. First, get Catwoman off ice, and me out of this fucking suit. They took him to his room and Cheshire whipped out her sai, and stabbed into the power core of the belt and ripped it off him, and so did the coating of the suit. What happened to this thing? Looks like it melted. Naruto groaned as he looked at himself a bit. Wouldn't be surprised. The suit was designed for, At the least, 2, maybe 3, tails of the Kyuubi's chakra flowing through it. I pumped all 9, so I wouldn't be surprised if this suit is one big smelt block of steel by now. Private Hive and Jinx tried to rip the gloves off him, and managed to do so, whilst also taking his normal gloves, which were ruined now, off as well. The boots came off easily enough. Naruto had easy-on boots underneath, and that had been a good thing. Cheshire grabbed the back of the helmet and started turning the gears to combination before it opened up enough for her to slide from his head. Naruto sighed, his head sweating and his hair matted somewhat down, but somehow defying gravity and all reason by staying slightly up and all spiky. Naruto groaned as he undid the suit's controls and slid from it, huffing as his skin was slightly red. Jinx looked at the suit's internals and whistled. It was an ice age out there, right? How the hell did you overheat the damn thing and melt your undersuit? Naruto chuckled lightly. Never underestimate the powers of the monster inside me. Trust me, it was hell to bring off all that crap. Gizmo will need to give me a rundown or something on that suit, it's totally done in. I will need a new one. Cheshire looked a little puzzled. What happened out there? Naruto narrowed his eyes. We got troubles ahead. They got new titans. That got everyone a bit surprised. XXX with the titans XXX. Static had just overcharged the city's power, using half of Cyborg's battery to do so, and managed to melt most of the ice in the city, and that was helpfully, and now the police could take over the rest of the way. The team went back to the tower to rest and relax, Batgirl bringing Freeze for when Batman arrived to bring her and Freeze back to Gotham, and she radioed in about it. Calder went to Robin. Robin, it was a very nice experience to join in battle alongside your team with you as leader. If you ever need me again, you know how to send for me. I must return to Atlantis, seeing as I am part of its royal guard now. Calder went to the doors and turned to everyone. I must be off. Raven, Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Static, Kid, Donna, and Batgirl. It's been a pleasure. Farewell. With that he left the tower and went to return to Atlantis. Superboy went to Wally. Good to see you again, KF. Will you be staying? Robin went up to them. Connor, Wally, Donna. I have a proposition for you. How would you like to join the team? To join the Titans. KF looked to Robin and then grinned. You want us to join your team, huh? I think that's fine by me. One question, what is the Titans about, man? Just young heroes here to fight and jump. Cyborg came up. It's more of training ourselves, since we can't find people to do so in the big leagues. I guess you can call us the ones who create the heroes who will someday be greater than those of the Justice League. Robin smiled. That's right. The Titans were formed for a few reasons. One is to help heroes like us who are just sidekicks, or heroes who aren't up to snuff to be a better part of a team and better heroes to fight injustice. Donna smiled as she came up. I'm in then. As long as this team is for being better heroes and helping the world, I wouldn't have it any other way. Superboy shrugged. I was already going to ask. I have nowhere else, and you called for help. I might as well help be part of this team. KF stepped up. We're all in then. Guess Rob here will be the one to lead us through the thick of it. I think things will slow down for a few days, don't you think? After all this, I think the police can handle the small stuff. Starfire giggled as she flew around them before picking Donna up. It is most wonderful to have another female companion to do the shopping and the painting of nails with. Donna was holding her breath from the sudden super strength hug. Raven poked Starfire's shoulder. She needs air. You need to hold back when embracing people still. She turned to Superboy. If you need any help with your aura, I think I can help you. Superboy smiled, nodding. I think I would like that very much. So, Static, you okay, man? You seem tired. Static was raiding the fridge. Yeah, I'm out of juice, man. Either I take the energy from the tower, or I get some calories, man. And I am also very hungry, so I might as well eat as my best option. Oh, and KF, I think the police have it handled for a day or two. Batgirl smiled, and saw Beast Boy and Cyborg start their games up. She looked and seen it was a very different atmosphere from Gotham, or even the Batcave's own social style. It was free, it was friendly, it held no secrets. It joined people that would fight for their beliefs and for the people who cannot fight for themselves, and also fight to bring criminals to justice, but stay relaxed. She came up to Robin. Dick, a word. Robin turned to her in confusion but nodded, telling the guys he would be right back, and the two of them went to the hallway. So what's on your mind, Barb? Something wrong? Batgirl frowned, looking down. Yes, I know this may not be the right place or time, and you may reject it flat out. But I would like to say I am sorry. I failed you, and I should have never kept secrets from you. But I also should have defended you, even from him. I turned a blind eye, and I should have known better. Robin looked at her with slight surprise. He smiled sadly. I have, for lack of a better term, broken all ties from Batman that I know I have. He trained me, he helped me grow, he allowed me to bring justice to my family. I empathize with him, I really do, but how he did things. That's not me, and I never could be him. He would either keep me back or expect me to do better than him, but I can't if I am unable to have the chance. I don't blame you, at all. I blame him. Batgirl smiled a little at that, mostly in relief. I guess I should have guessed that. Still, I wanted you to know I am sorry for not backing you up. I am sorry if you felt I betrayed you, but I never meant to. Robin nodded, sighing. I understand, but no, I never blamed you for the betrayal I felt from you, but I blame him for almost forcing you to do so. It was mostly him, and I will have to cut all ties by the time I finally feel free of his manipulation of my life. Batgirl nodded. There's only one left now. Your mask. And that is the second reason I came here for. The two looked as Batman came from the shadows of the hallway. Robin scowled. Come on in. Don't mind the surprising us, I wasn't. Robin walked back into the main room. Everyone, Batman is here. If you want to go at him, now's your time. Everyone turned to see Batman come in. Batman narrowed his vision at the group in the room. So, you built a ragtag team of heroes. Feeling insecure. Can't do all you can to stop criminals by yourself. Starfire looked at Batman with horror. His attitude was horrendous to Robin. Robin can do much on his own, but he knows that we as a team can do much more to help than him alone. Batman narrowed his eyes at her. That's his choice then. But because he won't protect Gotham with me, then he will have to give up the name of Robin. That is also his choice. Either protect Gotham alongside me, or remove the name of Robin and go his own path. Batgirl turned to Batman in shock. She never expected Dick to have to remove the mantle of Robin, since he himself created the mantle, via his nickname when he was with the circus and his parents before they died. Robin stopped in his tracks. He narrowed his eyes and remembered something Naruto told him. To leave the shadow of the bat, you would have to leave the shadow of the name you were given. He huffed, turning. If you came here for my mask and cape, you can take them. I'll have to find a name for myself somehow without it. Dick came up to Batman. But not here. I'll go pack the mantle of Robin and hand it over after I am done here. Barb, you and Batman wait outside for me. Batgirl shook herself. She stepped up to Robin. You sure? If you remove the mantle, what will you do? Dick closed his eyes, turning. I'll figure it out as I go, I guess. Just go, I'll meet you outside. Batman turned and started leaving. Batgirl, get Freeze, let's get ready to leave. A lot of the Titans were pissed about this development, and started to charge Batman, but Robin screamed. Stand down. Don't you dare charge him. That got them to look at him with surprise. Robin sighed. I would have had to remove the mantle anyway. Just let it be. Come here everyone, I have an announcement to make. He turned to Donna. Donna, you are a good leader. While I am gone to find a name for myself, I expect you to do well and lead this team to greatness. Defend Jump, please. Everyone, Donna is a great hero, and she will keep everyone here safe. Listen to her well. Cyborg, the recordings from today, put them in the files I made in the computer. You'll need to keep informed when I am gone. He turned to leave. Raven, keep an eye on everything. After what you told me, we'll need all the help we can get. Beast Boy, make sure to keep my high scores up. Static, my friend, I will see you again soon. Starfire, sorry I have to go. I will return, so do not cry over me too much. KF, Connor, make sure everyone knows the ropes we learned way back. They will need the moves. Everyone, I lay the title of leader of the Titans to Donna, Wondergirl, and from now till I get back, please. Do your best. He went to go get changed to his civvies and load the Robin gear he still had so he could return it to Bruce. He would be gone for a good while. As he was packing the gear for Robin, Starfire came into the room behind him. Robin, I do not understand. Why must you leave? Robin sighed as he looked at his oldest uniform, the first one he ever wore as Robin when he went to bring justice to those who killed his parents. Because, he was right. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have thought of becoming Robin. Now that I left him to go solo, like he wants to go solo in the first place, I might as well give the name he gave me back to him. I'm not Robin the second I remove my mask. Starfire looked at Dick as he turned to her. From now on, I will be the man behind the mask, until I can find a name and path for myself. Sorry Star, but it has to be like this. Starfire came up and hugged him tightly. I hope you have a safe journey. Return to us when you find your way. Dick smiled sadly as he held her back, seeing she was controlling her strength. I will, when I find my way. You can count on that. He turned and put his last uniform away. All but one. He turned a bit to Starfire who was leaving and reached up. Starfire, I want to give you something. She turned and suddenly caught the flying material, which consisted of first a mask, and then the cape. She looked at Dick standing there showing her his face without the mask. He smiled. My real name. Though you may forget it, I will tell you what it is. It's Dick Grayson. Starfire floated up to him and looked deeply into his blue eyes. She was in wonder at their color. He closed his eyes and turned. I got to go Star. But I will return. The mask and cape I gave you are the ones I made for myself when I came here, and we created the Titans. Keep everyone safe, and we will be a team again someday soon. Starfire wrapped her arms around him from behind. Dick, I understand how hard it was to trust me with this. I won't let you down. I promise, on my true name Coriander, to keep the city, and our team, safe. Dick smiled, grabbing her arm around his neck and nodding. She let go and he heard her fly off. He sighed. Coriander. Maybe I should give her a more earthly name. Would be easier to pronounce too. Well, I will try when I get back. With that, he undressed and packed the last suit, and dressing in black jacket and red shirt, putting on sun-high shades with his blue jeans. He did have a second suitcase, packed with civilian clothes he had with him, and he did pack some other stuff in it. Such as a single extendable staff, a robin belt, and then there was his special belt, filled with the blue dicks and a single blue-handled kunai he all had Raven make for him. He left with them both. He walked out to tower to see everyone there, and smiled. Thanks for seeing me off, guys. Remember why we fight, and you'll be fine without me for a while. Dick started to Batman and Batgirl. Batgirl was shaking with frustration but was aimed at Batman, and he knew she was mad at him for this. He went to Batman and lifted up the case with the Robin gear. Here. Batman took the case and started to the Bat boat. Dick turned to Batgirl, and she rushed him, grabbing onto him. I'm sorry you have to stop being the hero you wanted to be just because of his ego. If anyone can shed the shadow of the Bat, I know you can do it. Do your best. I wish you luck. He put his arm around her and rubbed her back. Barb, I will do my best. And no matter what he tells you, you are stronger than you think. Keep an eye on him. For me, he may be a jerk, but he's still important to us. If anyone can help take care of his health, it is you. Batgirl nodded in his chest before turning and running off to the Bat boat. Dick knew she was too proud to show tears, even to him. He watched as they left. He started to the bird speedster in the water, but suddenly Starfire came in front of him. Let me fly you. I'll drop you anywhere you want to go. Dick looked a little surprised, seeing she put on the cape he gave her. She didn't put on the mask, but then again she didn't need to. The cape was titanium alloy fibers to protect from gunfire, it was for protection. He smiled. Thanks, Star. Just near Piano Pizza should do. I'll get a bite and then get going. I'll stay in Jump a few weeks, that one guy is still training me. I need to be stronger for when I return. She smiled, and put a hand out. He grabbed it and let her pick him up and flew him into town. She looked down to see Robin was enjoying the flight. She looked down to him. Donna won't be able to replace you as leader. You know that, right? Dick smirked a bit. You'd be surprised. Donna is a master tactician and great leader material. Give her a few days, you'll see she could be just as good a leader. Maybe even better. Starfire nodded, smiling sadly. She may be a good leader, just like you. But there is only one you, and you know this team inside and out. You are the better leader for this team, no matter how great a leader of this team may be in your place. Dick looked up to Starfire, seeing her smiling. He smiled back, nodding. Thanks, Starfire. Still, she will lead the team well. I see you're wearing the cape. Is it to protect you? You are invulnerable, you know. Starfire put her free hand on the cape, looking for Piano Pizza as they arrived into the city. I wear it to remind me of you while you are gone. I will still wear it, so I can grow to be the hero I want to be as well. They arrived at the restaurant and she set him down on the sidewalk, and looked to him. Dick turned to her. You'll be a great hero. See you as soon as I find my true path as a hero. Bye, Starfire. She hugged him yet once more before letting him down, smiling sadly. She nodded. You'll reach us if you need us, right? Dick grabbed his Titan's communicator from his jacket and lifted it up to her. I will. I wouldn't dare go anywhere alone without it. He turned and started down the street, and Starfire held herself with the cape as he disappeared from view. She soon flew back up and returned to the team, fire in her eyes. XXX with Naruto XXX. What? Jinx screamed. You have got to be shitting me, was her response as he told her the new Titans he's seen. Cheshire hummed at that in thought. Calderon, otherwise known as the first Aqualad. Superboy, or rather Superman's clone. Kid Flash, the sidekick of the Flash, and an Amazonian I think. Did she had black hair, big assets, and a swimsuit-esque suit. Naruto only told the names he knew or the looks as best determined by the marks they had on them. The S shield, the golden W, and the lightning mark in a white circle to name the few. He sighed. Yes to the black hair, but no to the big assets. She was well figured, and she had a red bodysuit pretty much. Pants and shirt. Jinx sighed at that. Wonder Girl then. Damn, and I thought we'd be luckier now with our growing team, why did they have to as well? URG. Naruto stood on his feet. Don't worry just yet, we have our own work to do. When I am through training everyone on Pandora, you'll be able to go toe-to-toe with them easily. Although, we could use a little more power on our side. Cheshire looked to Naruto with confusion. Why need more than you offer? You can easily beat them. Hell, you beat Batman. Not a feat most people can accomplish, by the way. Naruto chuckled. True, but that was only because my skills as a fighter and my overall endurance and power is equal, if not already better, than Batman's, and my suit was way more advanced. Still, with the new Titans, and they knowing my true strength, their power will be growing rapidly. We will have to compensate. So which would you prefer? Hellish training the likes of which will make you wish you were in hell? Or getting a stronger teammate that can help us hold our own and I give you all the training I planned beforehand, and not as bad as Choice One's training? Jinx turned to Cheshire and Hive. Wanna recruit the next villain who likes a little downtime as a thief? We better make sure it's a good team player. Mammoth grunted as he came in. Sorry, Gizmo needed my help with the electronics. We could bring in my sister, Shimmer. Though I must warn you, she can be very, well, sadistic. She enjoys causing people immense pain. Naruto hummed in thought about that. Call her up. We'll try her out, and if she is too evil for us. Hey, she is at least welcome to visit, right? Mammoth smiled. Thanks, Naruto. Gizmo's about to unfreeze Catwoman. Let's go see how it goes. With that, he left and Naruto followed, leading the others with him as they went to see Gizmo. Sure enough, the second they came in was the second Catwoman was unfrozen. She slowly woke up and rubbed her head, stretching very cat-like as she stepped from the pod. What happened? And why is it so cold? Brr. Naruto shrugged. Well, Freeze froze you and used you as hostage bait for the Titans to freeze the entire city. Thanks for bringing him. I mean, really, you brought him here, why? Catwoman put her tongue out playfully. I thought it would make things a little more fun. Sorry, I didn't realize he would betray me like that. Everyone okay now then? It must be if I am here and you are relaxed. Naruto nodded. Yeah, beat his and his friends' butts, kicked my former friends' asses to hell, and brought you back. Left the Titans with clean up. Though you are welcome here anytime, please, as a new rule, do not bring any of those damn rouges. Ever. Catwoman giggled lightly before purring, sliding her fingers across his cheeks. Whatever you say, handsome. I was already going to never bring another here. Seeing as I am here with you guys, it must mean you saved me instead of the Titans, right? Naruto shivered a bit from her cold fingers, but no doubt she would mistake that, and smiled. Hey, we are thick as thieves here, we're all friends. So of course I saved you. Catwoman giggled and stepped back. Well, it was fun, but I should be going. I'll visit again sometime, but no guarantees for times I will drop in. See you later. Since she was still in costume and had all her toys still, she was ready to leave anyway. She ran off and left the base. Shigo sighed. Well, city saved, crisis diverted, the cat is gone, and the Titans should be pretty tired after all that with Naruto here. Hell of a day, huh? Jinx nodded and grabbed Naruto's arm. Yep, everyone relax and have fun around the base. Naruto, if you will, I wanna have a major talk to you. Naruto was being pulled gently by her and groaned. Can I rest first? I need sleep. As he left the room, everyone grinned. Gizmo voiced their thoughts. Jinx wants some fox. XXX with the Konoha flunkies XXX. So, we are where again? Kakashi groaned as he sat up against the wall, holding his wound that Sakura was now healing. Ino sighed heavily. We're somewhere with a young woman, I am unsure. The look of the place out the locked door here, we seem to be either in a factory or underground facility. The girl saved us from a lot of interrogation and torture by this world's governments and a lot of grief by the police. Tamari hummed in thought. So, who is this girl? What does she want? She was recovering from her head injury, thanks to Naruto bashing her head into Ino's. Ino shrugged. She called herself Ravager. Whatever that means. She's got 2 swords on her back, probably military or a fighter of some kind. We'll have to ask her about Hinata, because she isn't here. Neji grunted as he stood up. Cause she ran off on us. She doesn't want to fight Naruto, at all. She wants to make him happy, try to win his heart to help him find himself again. That last part won't work, but she'll still try. She's gone AWOL on us, and it would be wise to just let her be. Kakashi huffed. Fine. Naruto's way too strong for us anyway, and Hinata was retired anyway, she only came with us because she knew Naruto best. She's free to do what she wants. Sakura looked down. I can't believe how pissed off Naruto was. How the hell did we even survive? Ino scoffed. Well, look who fucking remembers his strength now. I was breaking down during the whole thing. Little miss, Sasuke is best. Sasuke's right eye is gone, he's unable to half of what he could before. Kakashi waved her off. Let's not fight amongst ourselves. We wait until Ravager gets here to tell us what she wants, and then we try to break out and get ready for our next attempt to bring Naruto in. You help me bring down my enemies, I will be glad to help you bring in your friend. They turned to see Ravager grinning. Sorry, couldn't help but overhear. Anyway, I don't mind helping you take down Kitsune X, but I ask one thing in return. You complete this task for me. I'll bring your friend down and you can take him back to wherever you came from. That's the deal. You in or out? Kakashi narrowed his eye at her. And what, pray tell, is your task for us? Ravager grinned evilly now. To wipe the Titans from this earth. Kill them all, every single one, and you will have that friend of yours in chains. That made everyone realize what kind of person they just got captured by. A villain of evil. Ino's sweat dropped. No doubt. Naruto will probably kill us next time. But should we die now because of a villain? Or because Naruto wants to rip us a new one? Choosing how to die was not how I pictured my future. Alright, this is what we got so far. Cyborg plugged in his cord to the computer and uploaded his new data, and started filing T all away in its appropriate spots. All the Titans were there to see the debriefing. After sorting it, he pulled up the file for Sasuke. This guy is one of the main characters of that group of ninja after Kitsune X and his friend. He's got special eyes, able to foretell a move, able to conjure many things, and as well as his skills to manifest fire and lightning into attacks. Seems he is a hothead and leader. How wrong he was on that last title. He pulled up Kakashi next. This guy is cool-headed, and has decent skills. He pulled up the rest as well. All of them are ninja with decent skills, and they each have different abilities but similar powers. This one, he pulled Sakura's file, was put into a coma, and if the news on Killer Frost is anything to say about it, she'll be in it for a while. He put up Kakashi, Neji and Sasuke only. These three got hit hard by Kitsune X, the leader got his eye burst into nothing, the white-eyed one got gashed open, and the other got a lightning hand to the lung. All three will be under stress. We don't know where they went, but if they don't get medical help soon, then those two are dead. Donna hummed in thought. So these guys are enemies of Kitsune X, but they're from his dimension. Am I getting this right? Raven turned to her, nodding. Yes. Although, Kitsune X is much more powerful, and seems I felt betrayal inside him. He feels they betrayed him, and that was why he was so angry. Static sighed. So you're telling me, Kitsune X was pissed off because these guys betrayed him? Raven nodded, but looked down in sympathy. It was more than betrayal, it was hatred, a kind of hatred from a broken heart. It was aimed at three people, the one in the coma, and the two blonde girls. Superboy crossed his arms over his chest. So, he was pissed off because they broke his heart and betrayed him. Must have been some betrayal and some type of realistic bullshit they gave him to make him go off like he did. Cyborg pulled up the updated Kitsune X profile. Kitsune X though is missing, and he freed Catwoman before fleeing the scene with her, otherwise Batman wouldn't have begun to think on finding her too. Truthfully, Naruto put a clone to use genjutsu with his Sharingan on the Titans, thus making it seem like he freed her in the labs, when in reality, he didn't. He took her back to base before freeing her. He pulled up the file for Naruto. Kitsune X. For those of you who do not know yet, he is very strong. Here's the video recordings of him so far, and some previous footage of when he and Robin were Red X. He showed them everything the suit and Kitsune X was capable of. This discouraged them a bit. Donna hummed in thought though. Okay, so who is fully with Kitsune X? You said he was with people from something called the Hive. Cyborg nodded, bringing up a few pictures. Here's what I think. The only reason he would help Catwoman was if Cheshire was with him. Back in the Hive, when I was infiltrating it, Cheshire and Jinx were always after him somehow. He was more friends with Jinx, Gizmo and Mammoth. Those four are the best possibles. Not to mention Cheshire had private hive with her, and then there was Kid Wycket helping Gizmo and Mammoth the other day. It was a full debrief. All their powers, everything about them for the newest members to know and calculating what was going on. It wasn't until Wally spoke until Raven decided to elaborate. So, what was with his fox thingy surrounding him, and his infatuation with foxes? Raven turned to him. It's a dangerous S-class demon, apparently, as he tells it, the nine-tailed demon fox is sealed inside him. It's not unheard of, but still it does not bode well. The nine-tailed fox could cause earthquakes and tsunamis with a swish of its tails. For every tail of power he shows, he gains more power. Cyborg hummed. So 9 tails is the maximum. He was super powerful with that shit. Didn't seem like Master of Hell kind of power, but still powerful. Raven looked at Cyborg with a serious look. He's holding it back. It's like he wants to use skill rather than power. Like he said, he was pissed off. That alone says as long as we don't piss him off, he doesn't even attempt to use that power. Starfire flew up to Raven. He says to not make him mad, but how do we not make him mad? The Kitsune X is ruthless as we have seen, and the idea of us wanting to take him to jail, most villains we face aren't very happy with that. Wally crossed his arms over his chest. You have a point, normally criminals are generally mad when they are locked up. Thing is, I think he isn't a normal criminal, just a thief. Beast Boy thought a little bit on that. True. He's stolen property from some of the highest known enterprises, the Red X suit, the scanner for Zenithium, some Zenithium, the materials for the Kitsune X suit, some money from those two guys we seen him in Kitsune X uniform for the first time, and then there's the diamonds, otherwise he hasn't caused any ruckus. Cyborg nodded. And if that friend of his is anything to go by, Kitsune X had a rough childhood, having people steal from you till you have only the clothes on your back for years. I think it's safe to say he only wants what he wants and doesn't care if he has to steal. Superboy looked to Starfire. I got a question, how is it that he's so strong and living with villains? Cyborg sighed. Cheshire, I am unsure, but Jinx, Gizmo and Mammoth are mostly just thieves with superpowers. Jinx has her unlucky magic, Gizmo is a smart kid even on my level, and Mammoth is super strong and resilient. Private Hive is more of a mercenary, and Kid is an unknown, but is friends with Private Hive. Donna crossed her arms in front of her, looking down in thought. Dick's been heavily outgunned here. And just as he gets the help to pull off catching this guy, he has to quit. Damn Batman. What does Diana even see in him if he is going to do this to people trying to be heroes? If I could, I think I would try to let go of my own persona. But I don't have to let it go until I have a new one set to take. Dick left me in charge, and I will do right by him. She came up to the computer and started up a new file. Listen, the way I see it, we need to be ready for this. Team drills every day. We need to buff our teamwork, especially since some people here are new to the team. Cyborg, I will need help understanding what Robin was doing for your teamwork so far. Think you can give me a hand? Cyborg smiled. Seems you got the right idea. I guess I can give this a shot. First thing we need to do is see some skills. You're the leader now, so how do we see the skills of the new members? Donna smiled back. I gotcha. Fine. Titans, outside. We're going to go free-form sparring. Battle Royale style. She flew herself through the door and outside, everyone running and flying to meet with her outside. It was going to be one hell of a training session. XXX with Naruto XXX. Gizmo grumbled as he looked at the black suit in front of him. He cursed. Fired. Baked. Ruined. Seriously, how did the power core not blow up? Oh wait, the overload is fried, it shut the systems down and you just pumped more power that seeped through the suit. No wonder the dragon skin is bubbled up and the titanium turned brittle, hell even the damn steel plates are melted. He threw the thing off his desk and turned to Naruto. Sadly this suit is totally fried, no way to salvage anything, the only things you can keep are the swords, they managed to survive. Otherwise, I need to make the suit again by scratch. Give me a week. Naruto sighed, but grabbed the 3 swords. Fine, I'll put these up for now. After that, do you need anything? Gizmo turned, grinning playfully. Yeah, what did you and Jinx talk about earlier? Naruto stopped, stalling mid-step as he was at the doorway. He turned to Gizmo with a smile. I have no idea what you're talking about. Gizmo just snickered and his sweat dropped before turning, grumbling as he left the young smartypants to his work. Truthfully, he and Jinx talked a lot, and shit got heavy. Real heavy, like hot heavy. He wondered what kind of an idiot he was to do what he did, and wondered if Jinx could ever forgive him. He wasn't very good with affections. XXX flashback, a few moments ago XXX. Jinx had pulled him to his room and twisted him around, pushing him onto the bed and sitting by him. Now, I know you held some info back there, gonna tell me what's on your mind. Or do I have to beat it from you? It was a bluff, a good 1-2 seeing as he was weak, and didn't really want to fight his friend, so she could give him a friendly pounding until he talked. Hell, she could tickle him mercilessly until he talked, either way she wanted to know, he was still stressed out. Naruto sighed. I have no idea what to do about it. All I know is they have more members. Whoever they are pretty good on their own, but if they integrate and get with the team enough to fight better against us, we're gonna be in trouble. Jinx pouted, punching his arm. You already have us that information, what's really going on? Or should I use this? And don't think I won't keep it up till you pee your pants. She had pulled out a rather big feather. Naruto chuckled nervously. She had used that thing once on him already, and learned his tickle spots enough to try it effectively. He thought he was good at torture. Give Jinx a feather and you'll be a puddle on the floor, giving her every single detail down to the freckles of who were there. Naruto sighed. Well, I thought I would trick the Titans, therefore Batman. I really don't want him finding our base. I tried to unfreeze her on the spot, but I couldn't get the controls. I set up a clone to activate a genjutsu so the Titans would see her fly off alone. I think it worked, but you know it wasn't easy sneaking out with 5 clones carrying a damn cryogenic container from the labs without anyone noticing. Naruto looked up a bit. Not to mention my old friends went missing. They escaped somehow. If the reports I got from my communications, which was a miracle we're still online after all that, can attest to their missing. I severely wounded half of them. They wouldn't be able to move very much. Jinx frowned at that. So you trick the Titans and your former friends go missing out of nowhere. Sounds like you're thinking, this does not bode well, am I right? Well, I doubt it would, seeing as it sounds like a way crazy coincidence. Still, you fought them all, helped the Titans, I think they will just ignore you to look for the former friends of yours. Naruto chuckled nervously. You know me well enough, I suppose. Still, it's got me worried. Who helped them escape? Neji has a gash in his belly, Kakashi has a popped lung, Sasuke has a major ass whoppin', Sakura's in a coma from my torture of her, Ino and Tamari should be passed out from the grinding of my Rasengans to their heads, Lea's knocked out, and then there's Hinata who went Mia. I do not know what she has planned, but after telling me she wanted to break all ties to Konoha and the others of that team, I doubt she would actually help them escape. Jinx hummed in thought from that, figuring only two ways for them to actually have. I think either an enemy you made, the Titans made, or they got lucky and managed to escape, you didn't wound them all enough to force them to stay caught. Naruto sighed as he slumped. What kind of enemy would I have made anyway? Other than Gotham Rouges, whom are put behind bars I think, since they escape so often they should be getting better at holding those Rouges, the Ice 5 I faced should know never to fuck with me again, and the Titans wouldn't do that. So either the Titans, or bad luck. Jinx smirked. I know bad luck, and I say this is just not it. I say the Titans are in for a ride. Think they can fight them off? Naruto chuckled a little. Given the time to rest, and the time between now and when my former friends are fully set to attack, they should have a plan and enough team training skills to manage their attacks and possibly beat them. My former friends are not as powerful as I am, although one or two of them are more experienced. Won't help in the case between the heroes. Besides, why would they have laid low till now if they thought they could take them? Jinx hummed, thinking he got a good point there. True. Although battling the Titans and trying to take over in order to find you would have brought the whole damn Justice League on their butts, that would be pretty crazy, they would definitely be down for the count then. Naruto hummed in thought about that. True. So they stayed in hiding to keep a low profile away from the Justice League, therefore the reason it took them a year to finally appear on the radar. Meaning I don't know who would win. Still, who knows what will happen in the future. Jinx smiled, putting her hand on his and intertwining their fingers. Whatever comes up, you know we are here for you. The team is safe and soon we will prosper and enjoy our lives how we want, and it will be thanks to you. Naruto was still a statue, looking as Jinx had grabbed his hand. Now, he was a ninja, he killed in his world as a job, he seen all sorts of bullshit, felt all sorts of bullshit, but affection and easygoing friendships weren't very common for him. Either they betrayed his heart, his feelings, his friendship and hurt him physically to boot, or they just ignored him during moments of great distress he was in. He had a poker face, that was the point, but even with a poker face, people are different in their minds and hearts. Naruto's mind and heart were overtime. He was wondering why she was getting closer to him, sliding up against him and squeezing his hand, and his heart was beating, not used to this kind of loving affection. Now, if it were a friendly encounter she was going for, she was aiming way to the left on this one, and thus why he was in distress now. She got closer to him, blushing lightly as she smiled softly. Especially me. I care very much for you. And I know, I used to try to harm you, but I changed. You want to give me a chance, you said. May I have this chance to show you how much I care? He was losing to his inner feelings, his heart beating, his mind racking for ideas, and his eyes going slightly wide as she got closer, closing her eyes as she did. He only had one thought to this before it happened. Why does she care so much for a fuck-up like me? She then closed the distance, pressing her lips against his softly. He was still processing the stimulating contact. She pulled back shortly after, blushing more. He was blushing now, his resolve to stay cool shattered. He relaxed a bit, sighing. She then wrapped an arm around his shoulder and kissed him again, this time deeper, pulling him to her and deepening the kiss. Naruto groaned into the kiss, and then relaxed, melting to her lips as he put a hand to her side. She moaned lightly into the kiss as she deepened it further, her hand sliding down his arm to his waist, trying to slide against him for more contact. Naruto finally snapped into reality and pulled back, huffing as he tried to regain his breath from the deep kiss. Jinx looked wide-eyed as the kiss was suddenly broken. Naruto and her stayed there for about a moment or two before he slowly stood up, and gave her a nervous smile and chuckle. I gotta go. Gizmo should be done with the suit's diagnostics for how ruined it is. She nodded, unable to speak as he walked fast out the room. Thus, he was then thinking about how much of an idiot he was, making Jinx think he didn't enjoy it at all. In fact, he did, but he never had that feeling before, never had that kind of affection before, it was hellishly confusing for him right this moment. He just needed to calm down and find out what to do about his feelings. XXX flashback and XXX. All in all, an awkward moment, and he wondered what it was all about. He never had a really good kiss, only a peck or small sweet kiss, nothing like the heavy makeout Jinx just gave him out of the blue. He was trying to regain his breathing and heartbeat from that. He managed to, but he was still blushing from it and wondering what to do. He went out of the base to clear his head, maybe robbing a few joints would do him some good. Hell, he wished his rival Robin would come in so he could kick some butt and mess around. Well, he got his wish. Out of nowhere, and he did mean it because he was not paying attention to his surroundings until this happened. Dick, in his civilian clothes and everything, dropped on top of him in an alley, and landed swiftly before flipping back and cartwheeling a kick to Naruto's head. Naruto stepped to the side and dodged it as Dick twisted and slammed a fist forward, Naruto dodging it to the right and Dick's fist cracked the wall behind Naruto before launching a quick and fierce forearm tackle. Naruto grabbed the arm and twisted it around, and then clamped his arm around Dick's neck, and holding his other hand at his side. Nice moves. Not bad at all, you snuck up on me. Too bad I wasn't paying any attention, otherwise I would have known sooner. Congrats, you used stealth against me. Dick smirked, relaxing. I knew you'd dodge my first attack, but I had to keep trying anyway. I need more training. I need something to get my mind off what happened. Naruto let Dick go, and hummed. Robin without the costume. So, mind giving me a run down? Dick frowned, looking down. No, it's none of your concern. Dick looked around in the city, seeing the ice still there, but melting quick enough. After all this, and after your friend helping make this happen, and then helping stop the attack. Where were you in all this? Naruto shrugged, deciding to just tell a lie here. Frozen. I don't a special quality he does. Dick hummed in thought, narrowing his eyes. I see. Still, his special quality is a demon, right? Why didn't you tell us that? Naruto shrugged more. What can I say? He isn't a demon to me. He's just a person. It's because people thought of him as a demon that they stole from him, poisoned him, beat him up, and so on since he was able to walk. He just uses it as a way to help himself and his friends. By the way, he told me after he freed me, those fuckers who helped those ice guys really pissed him off. Dick nodded, huffing. That's an understatement. He was all over the place. Why though? Why was he so pissed off? Naruto narrowed his eyes. Those guys tried to destroy the city he calls home, and threatens his friends, and takes a comrade from him and holds them hostage to draw him out. That doesn't seem like a good reason. Dick looked confused now. Comrade. Catwoman was his comrade. I understand one of his team worked with Catwoman, but why would he consider her a comrade? Just because she was a thief. Naruto sighed deeply. He finds her a comrade probably because she is a thief, not a villain, and because she might know how to play around, and probably isn't too serious. That's a big no-no to him. He doesn't really enjoy people who take life seriously. Dick nodded, but looked down in seriousness. Not many people can play around, not when things like what happened here goes on. We have to be serious to get things done quickly, otherwise the world could end. Naruto chuckled lightly. Listen to yourself. You know what would happen, you know how to stop it. Instead of being serious all the time, which makes you tense up, thus slowing you down, relax more, play around and be faster, smoother, and be able to face anything, both physically and psychologically. Dick looked at Naruto, a little scowl appearing. If I play around too much, villains that would destroy lives like it's a damn fun house activity will be able to faster than you could blink. Naruto sighed again. I never said play around too much. I said play around more than you already do, and relax. Thus, if you want to be stronger under me, you will have to understand a few things. 1. Relax your mind, relax your body, and flow with the movements of others. React, whilst acting on your will to fight. Dick narrowed his eyes on Naruto more. Before sighing and relaxing, he hadn't anything better to do, and he needed to get stronger. He relaxed as much as he could. But he knew Naruto was going to attempt to take him, using his relaxing as a way to beat him down, showing more ninja skills. To his surprise, Naruto never did such a thing, and he was just watching. He was confused again. Why are you standing there? I was expecting you to attack me while I relaxed. Naruto smirked a bit. True. Suddenly Naruto was on him and slammed a fist into Dick's shoulder, forcing him backward a couple feet. Dick grunted, getting up as he held his shoulder. That was dangerous. If you hit any harder I'd have broken my shoulder. You're striking to disable though. Naruto skied. Think again. That was a good portion of my power and skill. If you had tensed and taken the hit, expecting it and trying to force my punch to deflect, what would have become of your arm? Dick blinked in confusion and looked at his shoulder. He wasn't very badly hurt, but it still stung. He gasped, realizing if he had tried what he normally did, it would have dislocated, and badly. He turned to Naruto who smiled. That's it, you got it. See, your body is a natural elastic. If you tense up, you're a rock. What happens if you hit rubber? It bounced back into place. What happens if you hit rock? It crumbles. Dick looked in confusion, but wonder. If you build enough muscle and train it hard enough, it can deflect when tensed. If I had more muscle and tensed, your hand would have been hurt. Naruto smirked. True, but even lead can bend. Listen, having more muscle slows you down. Instead of going for more strength, try gaining more speed. Instead of going for more speed, try gaining more strength. You have to build both, so you can strike with enough strength to deal damage, but not too much it slows you down, and be fast enough to strike faster opponents, but not being too weak to deal no damage. Combine both, and using my special training, I guarantee, even if you were hit by Superman, you'd hit him right back with no pain showing in a second flat. Dick looked at Naruto like he grew a second head. No one took a hit from Superman and came back that fast. And what Naruto was proposing since they met was all against what Batman told him, what he learned under Bruce. That struck him suddenly. He looked hardened, smirking. I think this will be good then. Teach me all you can, and don't hold back here. Naruto nodded, smirking more. Then get ready to have some fun. That's lesson number 1. With that, he and Dick charged at each other, and started a light sparring session, which Dick was losing. He knew he would lose, but if he didn't then he came to the wrong man anyway, so he was glad to lose this one, since it would help him beat Kitsune X. Little did he know though, the one training him to beat Kitsune X was Kitsune X. To Naruto, this was a game, as well as a way to find solace. He seen in Dick the feelings of betrayal. He was rebelling now, the only reason he would be against what he was saying, and then flip all of a sudden. Naruto knew the feeling from sight alone, knowing Dick was betrayed, and he wanted to help him, to give him enough training to realize he needs to be his own person, and thus a better one too. It was going to be a long day for them, as Dick was going to learn how to have fun, even if it killed Naruto to do it. It wouldn't though, not a chance. XXX back at the hub base XXX. Jinx was fuming, steam rising off her head as she was pretty upset. No, not at Naruto, she understood that, but at a couple things. 1. Herself. 2. She goes damn teasing, and then there was Cheshire who decided to make things worse. She was mad at herself. Because she pushed the issue, and that was not the right way to go. I look like his worst ex, and I try to put myself on him and show him some affection. He must have had some sort of vision about her that made him suddenly think I was gonna hurt him. Otherwise why push me away and get nervous about it? She wanted to show him she truly cared and loved him, and she knew she had to go slow. Thing was, she tried to make out with him and put herself on him all in a single go, without realizing it because of her own lack of affection over the years she couldn't control herself, and he pushed her away for that. Shigo was training in the gym, working on her martial arts skills. Jinx came in to get on the treadmill, and Shigo seen this, huffing as she grabbed a towel. So, how was your little rendezvous with Naruto? Any good action, sis? Jinx pouted as she ran at half speed. Not really, I just tried to get him to relax after the harsh weather he had to endure and see why he was so tight-lipped. Though I did loosen those lips. She blushed hard as she slapped her hands over her mouth, and this caused her to lose track of herself and slip, falling on the mattress behind the treadmill, placed there because of that specific reason. Shigo giggled as she bent over Jinx. I see, so you got some kissing from the blonde hunk huh? Jinx grumbled getting up and started to walk off with a heavy red face blushing like crazy. Shigo giggled, smirking more. Hey, Jinx, just make sure when you two confess your feelings, you use protection. Jinx went totally rigid, and steam blew from her head, which was hot from the blushing and blood rushing up her body to give said blush its dark red color. She ran off, hearing Shigo laughing at the teasing she gave. Cheshire was the least of the matters though, but was still crazy. Cheshire basically told her that she would have to buy sound-canceling headphones for everyone in case things got that heavy, and told Jinx not Tom kill him, or if the stamina they all seen drew to that activity as well, Jinx should be worried about herself dying from the pleasure. Jinx just ran off and locked herself in the hologram room and just tried to walk around in a huff, trying to keep herself from exploding in embarrassment and frustration. After all that though, she sighed, grumbling a little before going back to her room. I hope he can forgive me. All I want is to finally find someone who I can love and not accidentally break with my powers. That's so wrong to ask. She looked up as she laid back in her bed. Wonder if I should talk to him later. Maybe it would do some good to clear things up and try again, otherwise we'll be awkward for weeks on end. That will not bode well for either of us in our friendship. With that, she silently fell asleep, dreaming of ways to fix their friendship and grow closer. Kya, Dick was currently training with Naruto. And getting his ass handed to him very badly. He currently was sent flying back and into the wall behind him. It's actually been a week since they began training, and Dick was improving, very much so. How much you ask? Dick hit the wall, but planted his legs and jumped off, rushing to tackle Naruto, without even being in much pain truthfully, and managed to wrap his arms around Naruto in order to do so. Sadly, Naruto saw this and rose his arms up, slamming them hard down and forcing Dick to the ground on his knees. Dick gasped for a brief second, but jumped up wickedly fast, slamming his head into Naruto's chin, forcing Naruto backwards. Naruto groaned as he rubbed his chin, seeing that was the first hit Dick ever actually made on him ever since they began. Dick was woozy though, seeing as he slammed his skull, without actually thinking on it, into Naruto's jaw. That was a bad combination for Dick's first strike for this. Naruto chuckled as he stood still. Not bad, you are definitely making progress. I can definitely say you can build on what you learned whilst traveling like you said you wanted to. Keep driving towards what I taught you, and you'll soon be able to strike more blows against Kitsune X than you can imagine possible. Dick grinned, huffing as he sat down for the moment. That sounds like a swell idea. I guess it was tough, but at least I landed a hit in whilst training. Even if I didn't, I would have to leave to train tomorrow morning anyway. Thank you for indulging me for so long. Naruto smiled as he bowed. The honor is mine, to have seen such talent within you. You even found me within a minute yesterday in your ninja training. Although I did only do what rumors Batman would have done, otherwise I am sure it would have taken you an hour to actually find me. Dick scoffed, smiling a little sadly. That's why I was thinking it was a bit easy. I've been with Batman so long, I kind of knew his patterns enough to find you. I didn't think you'd copy his movements exact just from rumors, but I understand. You did what you could to help me. Naruto seen Dick stand up, grunting as he held his arm. I'll be seeing you, when I finally find my path. Naruto came up, putting a hand on Dick's shoulder. He did feel for the kid, he really did. He wanted to bad to be his own man, his own hero, a person he could be proud of to make a difference without anyone's shadow hanging over him. He strove for what he believed. You'll find your way. I just hope when you do, that I'll be there to see it. Dick smiled at that, nodding as he put a hand out, and Naruto shook it. Dick turned and limped a little away before turning. Tell your friend, that I will be coming back, harder than ever. He will see just how strong I am to bring him down. And with that, Dick rolled his shoulder and ignored his pain to run off. Naruto taught him enough to be a possible threat to Kitsune X's well-being in the future. He smirked as he imagined the fun he would have with that. I think I'll enjoy every punch, no matter if I am the one getting punched. Who knows, this may change everything. Such as being capable of better things than I was. Or just makes it more fun to beat the crap out of him. Doesn't matter to me. He was pretty tired, and the damn headbutt smacked him pretty good, so he thought to get back to base and rest. They had planned a big heist in town, some much needed release. Naruto has also been training the team in fighting, and improving their powers, and Gizmo has finally finished the new Kitsune X suit. It was time for a test run. Naruto went back to base, and sighed, opening the door to see such a mess. It's been restless without some kind of action, to say the least. Cheshire has gone off to train for a while in her skills. Private Hive and Kid were, once again, fighting over the last cookie. Gizmo and Mammoth were currently somewhere in the base doing something, but Jinx was causing a few little destructive causes, trying to pry Shigo from the hair dryer. Naruto walked into the living quarters and seen Jinx fighting Shigo for the hair dryer and caught it. Flip a coin, and whoever wins, gets to use it first. Excuse me. The only thing H hated about being a leader to this group, was so many differences and not enough group activities. As he walked to see about Gizmo, Jinx decided to just hand the dryer to Shigo and walk with him. Anything new? We've been cooped up here for a while. Naruto turned to her. Yeah, I know. Sorry, it's been crazy. New Titans, making sure everything is okay for us to go. Need to make sure we are prepared, and the time is right. I know you and Shigo have been getting hostile lately, not to mention the one less member of the team. Jinx sighed. Cheshire's been uppity on her ninja skills, thinking after you wanting to do things your own way, and have us do things our own way, she would follow that step. But I get what you mean. We just want some kind of action. Something to tide us over, something to do. You know, Shigo's wanting to see what kind of lives we actually live, and she and I have been troubled about our powers. They have some kind of complementary property, as well as volatile. Who knows if it's her or me? Naruto smiled, which is why I am going to go see Gizmo. After I get my new suit and try it on, I will call up everyone on the things I figured out for our first team heist. As for the powers thing, I seen it happen a few times. You two are just that way. Both utilizing volatile powers, and natural energies to condone your ways of using them. It's just how it is, and it's both of you, not just one. With a little work, you two can be a force to be reckoned with, even against me. Jinx giggled at that. She took him by the collar and brought him down, kissing him deeply. They had worked things out the night after the first encounter like this one, and they both worked out that it would be better for both of them if they were to experiment. Naruto picked her up and kissed deeply back, before they separated and walked together to Gizmo's room. Naruto knocked on the door and Gizmo called them in. Gizmo sighed. You know, when I first thought of this design for the first suit, it fried everything. I have since been able to figure out how to limit the flow of your toxic chakra, and just let it influence the suit. Thing is, you told me it was limitless. I had to bring conductors from inside to outside the suit, sensors, the whole works. Next thing I knew I had to redo the entire thing. Naruto rolled his eyes. What's your point? Barf breath. Jinx giggled at that. Always funny to see the two play around with such language. Gizmo turned, looking like he was ready to pass out. I'm saying it was a bitch to make sure you didn't fry yourself. I had to slap in a new system, everything, whilst still keeping to the Red X weapon systems, protection, and flexibility. I just need a test run, and diagnostic, and we shall see if it is truly ready for my calibrations, or if we need a thing or two. Naruto hummed. Sounds like this brings up the right opportunity. Is it ready for testing today? Or tomorrow? Gizmo grinned. Don't you dare underestimate my genius, Pit Sniffer. Like I can do anything else for it besides assembly. That should be done in around 10 minutes. So, what's this plan you got? Naruto grinned then. Oh, a high-stakes robbery and heist. Something you all will thoroughly enjoy. How's that sound? I'll give everyone 3 hours rest, and another half an hour to get ready after I tell everyone. This way, you aren't tired, and we all get there just in time for the shifts to change, and the security is lowest. Gizmo nodded and turned back around to finish the helmet. You do that. I'll finish this in 10, and wake me when you are ready. Oh, and try not to make too much noise, it's already crazy seeing you two kissing everywhere. Jinx blushed, and snapped at him with that. Hey, you can look away, it's our space, it's not like we're forcing you to look. Now get it done, get some sleep, and get ready for a heist. Naruto chuckled at that and walked out, Jinx following him. He looked to her as they walked out. You know, it's not like you can tell them to look away. Besides, it's our time, not like they should really matter. Don't let them rile you up any, they are just teasing. Jinx tapped his shoulder and then stopped him. Well, we've been through this, right? You seem to be a little inexperienced with the concept. Not that I hate the kissing, far from it, but I don't feel any passion from you. Sure, it's deep, it's caring, but you don't seem to have the heart for it. Naruto sighed as he looked to her. I told you about my life before this. Assassinations, convoy, war. I've been through terrible things in my past, and I am still young. Not to mention nearly dying since I was 4, and all the hatred and control people dumped on me. Passion. I haven't felt it, only heard of it. I told you of Sakura, and of Ino, and Temari wasn't nearly as bad as them, but still they all were evil cheating bitches. Trying to feel passion got me nothing but pain and suffering. Jinx sighed as she looked down. I know, I do, and I am sorry for pushing it on you. It's not like I don't have patience to wait for you to finally feel safe with me. I still wish I could do something to help. Besides, it's very embarrassing having people just stare and try to use it as a way to make us flush over their voyeurism. Thus why I get heated about it. Naruto put a hand on her shoulder, and smiled. Listen, I am in a different world, and the only reason for my old self to stay around, is what's happened in my past, and my past following me here, aka the Konoha flunkies. Otherwise, I've changed since then. I will continue to change, until the me that is supposed to be set for life appears. Jinx sighed as she turned. You know, sometimes I hate your maturity. She turned to him with a small caring smile. But, I think I can get used to it. A little maturity can go a long way, especially with how things may progress with us someday. Naruto's eyes widened as Jinx walked off, but with a little hitch in her step, and her hips swinging like he never see from anyone else he's been with. He shook himself out of his trance, and smiled, starting to his room for meditation. I think, no matter her looks, she is totally different from Sakura. I enjoy that from her. Maybe I will try to bring out my passions once more. First, something to keep them at bay. And a cold shower as well, it would seem. XXX with the Titans, training XXX. The Titans have been training, working out missions, and Donna has been doing a damn splendid job of it. It took 3 days, and suddenly the team was looking to her as if she were Dick incarnate in planning. News was soon out all around Jump of the Titans Reborn for their new members. Superboy's been pushed as Superman's protege, or his upcoming replacement. Kid Flash was welcomed with open arms as a great humorous hero to help bring the people smiles, both during and after a disaster. Static was heavily helpful. He even powered the city a whole day after the 5th day's blackout, via Dr. Light's plot to bring the city to its knees. Jump City even gave Static a commendation, the Medal of Heroism and Beyond, which gave the Titans something to be proud of. Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy were a trio to be trifled with. Power, improvising, and powers that normally wouldn't compromise with each other, did so perfectly beyond what people thought. That was day 6, where their training under Donna had taken a rude awakening, and they soon made a greater team. Donna was run ragged, unlike what everyone else thought. Every night, she would go to her room, where she and the team agreed would be where she would sleep and stuff, and would sleep instantly. Training, figuring out everything Dick was doing and trying to do, how shit was done in Jump. It was mind-boggling. Her only thought, every night before she slept, was, no one could handle all this with the resources so far. Dick is more like Batman than he cares to admit. Which was true, whilst untrue at the same time. The biggest, most shining example of overkill to the team was Starfire. She turned into something none of them seen before. They've seen her fight many villains, they see her battle, especially Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Raven, not to mention Robin, who faced her himself a long time ago. She turned into a hell of a warrior and hero. Donna, who was the new leader now, couldn't beat Starfire in their spars. The only one able to tire Starfire out was Superboy. He was half Kryptonian, and used more skill than Superman, who used more raw power, and yet Starfire had more skill as a warrior, and managed to tie, or win most of the time. They were, once again, sparring and training. Donna was with Superboy as they took on Starfire, whilst Static and Kid Flash faced against the trio, Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy. Static gave KF a boost with a little electro shock to his feet, which made Kid Flash dash faster, and he did, ramming into Beast Boy, who was rolled on the ground a little before he changed into a gorilla and slammed the ground, smashing the ground as Kid Flash rushed around. Cyborg ran after Static, which was normally not very smart, but he fired his sonic cannon full force to the ground, making his jump a boost. Static flew up to dodge it, but Raven was on him, grabbing his disc and pulling it from under him. Static hooked on with a bolt he created like a wire to swing from, and swung hard, speeding at Beast Boy. He slammed his feet into Beast Boy's gorilla chest, and shocked BB with a forceful shock, making Beast Boy shake violently. Cyborg fired at the ground in front of Kid Flash, and made the ground crumble and lift. Kid Flash jumped slightly and spun, his speed carrying him to Cyborg, but sadly, Cyborg aimed again and fired at him. Kid Flash was blasted into the air and away. Raven grabbed Cyborg and lifted him into the air as Static was flying back up to get at her. Cyborg blocked him, and he fired off another electo-blast, making Cyborg jolt and freeze for a minute. Static flew past, but seeing Raven wasn't there anymore. She helped Cyborg down as she flew around and ran to Beast Boy, who turned into a bird and was flying after Static. Static saw this and tried at him, but BB changed again, turning into a constrictor and wrapped around Static. Normally, this was the worst possible idea. But Static was just about to power up when BB unwrapped and changed again, into a T-Rex. Static looked shocked, no pun intended, as BB's tail slammed him down into the ground. Kid Flash tackled Raven to the ground and he ran again, going to Cyborg. He trained with Dick a lot, so he knew how to battle. He seen Cyborg get back up, and soon was on him, spinning up and slamming a double rising heel kick into him, making Cyborg fly into the air. BB dropped as a hippo on Kid Flash though, knocking him out effectively. Static charged up and shocked BB back to normal and clung him to the ground before he rushed down, slamming a taser punch into Cyborg's stomach and bolting him to the ground, knocking him out effectively as well. Too bad, though, as Raven took Static's flying disc again, and this time, slamming it down on Static, and then lifting him up, and down into the ground. She sighed, as she watched the battle nearby. Donna roared as she flew up to meet Starfire in the air. Starfire flew right back at her, and the two collided. Normally, super strength was mostly about bashing others, but Donna was trained as a warrior, and Starfire was from a world of warriors, they were going to use strength with skill. Donna went for a hip punch, as Starfire rolled over her. Donna turned to grab Starfire's, or really Dick's, cape, and only managed to see a fist slam into her face. Starfire was tackled by Superboy, who had jumped to catch her. Starfire was slammed into the ground, and turned after Superboy rose. She caught his foot, which was about to slam her deeper into a crater, and twisted it, and slammed a harsh snap kick into his back, forcing him off her. She rolled her feet up and pushed her arms on the ground, slamming a double heel kick into Donna's chest. Starfire rose and flew off to get some distance. Donna flew after her again, aiming to bring her down hard, but Starfire fired her starbolt, a steady beam flying at Donna. Donna quickly flew up to dodge it, but Starfire fired her eye bolts as well, which caught her, flipping her back down. Superboy caught Donna and twisted her around before throwing her back up. Donna recovered enough to see Starfire rushing after her. She twisted and slammed her hands, cupped and grasped together, into Starfire's head, driving her to the ground. Superboy jumped up as Starfire flew to the ground. Starfire flipped and landed on her feet. The force was still enough to make a small crater, and she looked up to see Superboy drop on her. She caught his feet, but he had used Donna as a wall to gain the force required to force her into the ground hard. Starfire roared as she blasted Superboy into the air and flew fast, real fast, at Donna, and slammed a harsh hook into her face, and then grabbed her arm and twisted her around twice before throwing her into Superboy, who jumped to interfere. Both Donna and Superboy slammed into the ground, and Starfire was on them fast, and harsh, once more, pounding them both, a hand and foot each, and beat them hard before flying back, making sure not to beat them too badly. Starfire huffed, and dropped to the ground, holding her arm which was pretty bruised by Superboy's super strength against her. Superboy was up, grunting as he held his head. Donna was sitting up, huffing. Starfire rose again, and was about to continue, when Donna relaxed. That's enough for today. I think we shouldn't beat ourselves that much. We'll need it when more trouble comes our way. After a few minutes of waking those who were knocked out, and helping them inside, they found no really bad injuries, and only some pretty big bruising. They were in the living quarters and relaxing, talking to each other about how they did, and a few of them telling old stories of their heroics. Static was kind of interested in cyborgs, and Raven was wondering a little about Superboy. Something about him seemed different than she first thought. Donna looked as Starfire was getting something to drink, and went to her. Starfire. A word. Starfire nodded and turned fully to Donna. I never seen such fierce skill from anyone other than the major heroes. Batman, Wonder Woman, I'm a little curious, since you are a little distant, about where you came from. Starfire looked down a little, then back up. Robin leaving hurt this team, even if you were here to try and fill the role he left behind. You've been doing wonders with our teamwork, and I welcome that, but you can't just be friends with someone for a while and suddenly they leave because someone doesn't want them to be who they are. Donna frowned at that, and looked down. She had considered that, seeing as everyone here knew and cared about Dick for an extended period of time. All of them watching him walk out the door in civilian clothes, because Batman didn't want him being Robin anymore, was painful to them all. It was a hard thing to accept. Donna put a hand on Starfire's shoulder. Listen, I know what you are talking about. We all cared about him, we all know him. We're all hurting, and Hera knows I am with you, but why should you grow distant from everyone else because of this? Would he have wanted that? Starfire glared at Donna for that remark, but soon softened up and turned. He would not, but he is not here, and that is why I am distant. I just need a time, which everyone needs at some point, and everything will be better. It's been a week, though, since he left. I cannot very well heal within a single week. Donna nodded at that and let Starfire relax. She needed a drink as well after this. The two girls seemed to have a strained relationship though, unlike the others with them. Donna could easily get along with KF, Superboy, Beast Boy, and Cyborg. Starfire with everyone but Donna, Kid Flash, and Superboy. Raven was currently just taking glimpses at Superboy though, thinking and wondering about him. Truthfully, she had this link to him, she was confused about it. It was like, his powers complemented hers in a way that she wasn't sure was possible. Raven was trying to figure him out. He was a mystery to her. He couldn't fly, he couldn't use heat vision, he was weaker than Superman, but he had other things that made him someone else, someone better. Superboy was kind of wondering why Raven was always looking at him. It wasn't a, checking you out. Look, he got that from Miss Martian before she decided to break things of. No, this was a curious and wondering look, one that was suggesting her calculating what he was. Truthfully, in a week, they could do what was expected in the best condition of the current situation. A heavy blow to their team, and doing what they could as heroes even without the biggest part of their team. The Titans' air strained, but not without a sense that they should still do their best. Like the old saying, they didn't have to like each other, just get along whilst they worked together. They would soon find out that they would have to work harder. It was also going to get bumpy, seeing as today was the day they would have to face the new and improved Kitsune X, and they were already bruised and shit from the sparring today. Donna was looking at the files on the villains, and keeping a close eye on the Kitsune X entry, making sure she knew everything about him to where she could figure a way to defeat him. She had only a single thought as she looked at the stats once more. Dick, I know you and this guy are heavy rivals, just like Batman and the Joker are, but if we must, we will have to take him down without you. I hope you will forgive us, but it's how you would want it I think. XXX with Naruto, 3 hours later. XXX. Naruto was in the living area, using the TV as the layout of his heist. He waited until everyone got in the area and smiled. Glad to see everyone. I know you guys have been very bored, and you all have been cooped up here in safety. Which is why I've found a great idea for our group. Pandora will pull a heist, and will beat the Titans. New or not, they still have to get through me in the end. Shigo smiled. Finally some action. Not that I don't mind your training, but it's not exactly plentiful. Naruto nodded. I realize this, but who knows how screwy the Titans' teamwork is now with all the bullshit they have. I heard that Robin left the team, so they should suffer a bit of a loss, not to mention having only a week since they got together, they shouldn't be able to complement each other very well. How wrong he was. Mammoth rose a hand. Question, what kind of heist are we pulling? Money, jewels. Naruto shrugged. I figured everyone could get whatever they wanted. From being with you guys so long, most of you would enjoy money, and lots of it. I myself would like some collectibles and antiques as well as something to enjoy. Which is why I've picked 2 targets. He turned the TV on to the map of the city. He pointed to the biggest bank in Jump City. This is where most of our forces are deployed. They just got a new shipment of gold bars and bills the other day. Mammoth, you and Private Hive will be the muscle to take anyone I can't stop and beat them, or delay them enough for the rest of the team to get away. Kid, you're their getaway. Everyone nodded and he pointed to the next location. This is my area. This is a perfect place for me to get some things I liked when I passed it by the other day, and it's also strategically located to protect everyone. It's between the Titan's Tower and the bank, which is a good ways away from each other. I'll grab some of the things I want, send a team of clone to meet up with you, and you guys get away if I can't seem to hold all of the Titans. Jinx stood up. I'll be there to help you. Who knows how tough they really are, and you enjoy skills rather than power, so it would be best to make sure they can't overpower your skill. Naruto nodded at that. Fine by me. Any questions? Cause unless you want something else, I think we should wrap it up and get ready for our first team heist. He got no complaints. None, and he nodded again. Good. Get set people. Gizmo, let's go see about my new suit. They all went to get set to go, and Naruto went with Gizmo, Jinx as well. Naruto was quite impressed by the new suit's look. It was like the old one, but this time a more menacing look. Its helmet had the same design, but this time it had black instead of white, and the red X on it as always. The bodysuit of it looked sleek, a massive red X on the chest as well as an easier way to get into the thing. It had the arm sheaths, and back sheath, but what really made Naruto a little surprised was the cape. Instead of the normal design, it had 9 threads falling from the lower back to behind his knees. Gizmo explained. Listen up, dumbass, this thing has 2 layers of titanium cloth, a concentrated layer of dragon skin, which I recreated to handle your damn energy, and I had to use the rest of the new steel you got for me, which gives you maximum protection in key areas, but overall more vulnerable spots. The skin itself, what you stole, could actually handle 500 degrees over or below Celsius. I generated it to be able to handle twice as much on each side of the temperature spectrum. Gizmo took the helmet and tossed it to Naruto. This thing is way better. All the visionary components you can imagine. The only visions I didn't put in were obvious ones, such as laser and heat vision. It also goes by voice command, but this time around you can press the button on the left ear and use it to silence any command you say, that way you don't ruin your stealth cover. Naruto grinned. Gizmo, you are a genius as always. Let's put this on, and roll out for our big heist. Naruto started putting it on, and had a single thought. The Titans will be thoroughly surprised. XXX with the Titans XXX. The alarm suddenly sounded off, as the team were about to call it a night. Donna pulled up the alert and looked a little shocked. We got a lot of trouble here. It says here the Hive is sticking up a bank. They're stealing the new gold bars and bills transferred there. And 2 people are spotted at the highest security antique mall, and one of them is confirmed as Kitsune X. Starfire narrowed her vision. We should focus on Kitsune X, he is the most dangerous of them all. Donna turned to Starfire. I agree he is the most dangerous of them, but we have to stop all of them. Cyborg, Raven, Beast Boy, you take on the team in the bank, everyone else on me. We'll take on Kitsune X. Titans, move out. The team rushed off to stand their ground against Pandora, and Starfire was fiercely looking forward to fighting and beating Kitsune X, once and for all. One thought was in her mind as she raced to the mall. I won't let you down. Not now, not ever, I promise you this with all my might, Dick Grayson. XXX Omake, potential Titan. XXX. Calder was returning to Atlantis from his trip to jump to help Dick with the ice villain situation. He had asked Garth to take his place, and asked Aquaman permission to leave the city to answer the urgent call. He re-entered Atlantis streets and swam up to the guards. Calder of the Imperial Guard, returning from my urgent business on the surface. Please let me through. Procedure had the guards checking him for any devices or equipment other than what he logged, and was clean, as always. Calder was swimming back to see Aquaman on the throne, but only seen his wife, Mera. My queen, I have returned. I am sorry my business with my friend and former partner Robin kept me away for so long. Please forgive my negligence. Mera put a hand up, smiling softly. Nothing has happened as of late, so it is quite alright for your absence to take a little longer than you might have suspected. I do, however, wish to know how your former partner is doing, as I heard a rumor through a school of krill that Robin had been abandoned by Batman. Calder looked shocked. I do not understand. Robin has always been a great ally to Batman, and an even greater hero than Batman may like to admit. If Batman abandoned Robin, then I did not know, and will have to go back to understand fully. But I cannot leave my post again, that would be unbecoming of an imperial guard to your ladyship. Mera stood and came to Calder, putting a hand on his shoulder. There is no need to apologize, and you are setting a fine example. Your powers and skills as an Atlantean warrior, water sorcerer and as an imperial guard to the throne is beyond what even Garth could accomplish, and you care deeply for everyone in Atlantis, as well as me and my husband. That is quality and loyalty that is rare to come by in the depths of this vast sea, where many may turn to seek evil intent on us and on the surface dwellers. Calder bowed deeper. Thank you, my queen, for everything you have given me. I cannot fathom the depths of your kindness, or the greatness within this city to give someone like me a chance. Mara went back to her throne. You may be the son of the greatest evil of the sea, but you are not the greatest evil of the sea. You may be the seed of Black Manta, but you are still Atlantean in heart and spirit, and will always be a part of our family, not his. I do believe you need to relieve Garth of his duties, and return to your post. When our king returns from his mission with the League, I will ask for more information, and if, indeed, Robin has been abandoned, then I will gladly allow you access to go see for yourself. You do seem like you need a vacation, though. Maybe you should set another date with your love. Calder smiled up to Mara, nodding. Thank you, my queen, for everything you have given me. I will never let you down, for I swear to the almighty Poseidon and Neptune that Atlantis continues to prosper and keep its peace for all time. Mara waved him off with a smile, and he bowed deeper before swimming off. He would have to wait a day or two before asking for his vacation enough to ask his love for a date. She had dumped him and broke his heart, but after returning, and Garth being the one swimming off to adventure, she was heartbroken as well. Calder helped heal her broken heart, even if she may never heal his. She did though, and he would treat her well, his Tula returned. He seen Garth, a black-haired young man with a blue scale suit, not unlike Aquaman's orange and green suit, but being blue and black instead, blue torso and black bottoms. Calder set his feet on the ground near Garth and Garth smiled. Welcome back. I thought you'd take longer, but I suppose seeing Dick again was nostalgic. Calder smiled. It was. He frowned instantly after that. Seems, though, that after I had left to return here, Dick was abandoned as Robin by Batman. I do not know the full details, but our queen promised me answers as soon as our king returns. But, it is as you said. Dick was part of a team of young heroes. Garth smirked as he stood up, as he was leaning on a wall before. I told you. Beast Boy and me had a little of a rivalry going when they helped me with that little problem a while back. What took you though? You seem to have a few minor bruises. They would usually heal after a long trip back. Calder frowned more. I had to help them face against all 5 of the major ice villains that invaded Jump City. Killer Frost, Mr. Freeze, Icicle Sr. and Jr., and Captain Cold. Dick was heavily, and is still heavily, outmatched on the surface. He needs more help than he has already accumulated, even more than Donna, Wally, and Connor. Garth looked confused. Even with Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, and Superboy, he's outmatched. How so? Calder shook his head. A powerful being of immense power, able to take on all 5 villains at the same time and still going strong. Word has it that he even beat Batman. He is no hero, but a thief, and he is very dangerous. Garth hummed in thought, and after a few seconds he smirked. I think I should pay them a visit, maybe see for myself how great this adversary is. I do owe them for their help, so it shouldn't be too much trouble to return the favor. Calder put a hand on Garth's shoulder. If you do go to see them, please be careful. This adversary is stronger than you can imagine. I still cannot believe the power he's shown whilst facing Killer Frost and the others. Garth nodded, putting a hand on Calder's shoulder as well. Thank you for caring, my friend. Take care, and keep Tula happy. As I could not. Be well, my brother. With that, Garth swam off to train again before asking permission to go to the surface. It would be a long trip, though. Naruto slid his new suit on, the black and red tint design, the huge red X on the chest, and the 9-flap cape behind him. He couldn't zip the back though, he had to use chakra to clip it and lock it around his body, and he did so, the clamps snapping shut and snugly fitting him. Naruto put his armed swords in their new sheaths and the main one in the new sheath in the back before he grabbed his new helmet, seeing the new design. It was like an actual fox head with a big red X on it, a darkened outline for the head's covering. He slipped it on and used chakra to snap the thing shut over his head, and smiled, seeing it fit perfectly. He charged the suit up and the helmet brightened up inside, and he whistled. Gizmo certainly went the extra mile. Biometrics, armor sensors for damage, location sensors for my swords. Naruto then used his mental commands to switch every single filter for vision and grinned. This is awesome. He turned to Jinx who was waiting for him, and blushed. Apparently Naruto forgot to switch back to normal vision, as he had selected the penetrative vision, and saw under Jinx's clothes. He looked away and smirked a bit. This suit is awesome. He turned back to her after switching to normal vision. Oh, and sorry, I selected the vision that looked under your clothes the first time I looked. Jinx blushed crimson red and then covered herself. Naruto chuckled lightly. I'm not looking anymore. It was an accident. A happy one, but an accident nonetheless. You look pretty sexy though, good on you. Jinx blushed more before slapping his arm hard, knowing the padding would protect him anyway. Pervert. She smiled up at him and blew a kiss at him, winking. But I don't mind as long as it's you. She started walking to the team gathered in the living room. Naruto went and got them ready before they all teleported thanks to Kid, going to both destinations quickly. The heist was starting. XXX with the Titans. 5 minutes later XXX. Donna was carrying Superboy as she, Static, and Starfire were moving quickly to keep up with Kid Flash speeding on the ground to meet with Kitsune X, with Raven and Beast Boy, Raven carrying Cyborg, were heading out to the bank. Donna looked to Starfire. Here's the plan, you rush in and distract him, and I will drop Superboy on top of them. Sound good? Starfire nodded, the cape Dick gave her flapping in the wind as she got ready to fight. Donna seen Kitsune X, or a newly outfitted one, standing on a tall rooftop, waiting for them it seemed. Starfire roared and swiftly rushed him, firing star bolts into him. That was weird though, as they hit their mark. And he vanished into smoke. Starfire stopped and looked around. Kitsune X isn't here. It was one of his clones. I think he is distracting us instead. Let us make haste, before he gets away. Naruto looked back at the direction his clone was at and then to Jinx. Jinx, you done shopping? He takes her here and she suddenly loves the stuff in the shop. She was grabbing jewels and even grabbed a, as labeled, black magic statue, and was black and gold and shaped like a bird, like a phoenix maybe. Jinx put that away quick and gave her bag to the clone. Sorry, I was having a ball. We should get before the Titans come. Too late. She looks to see Wonder Girl, Starfire, with a cape now, Superboy, and Static were flying in, and a yellow and red blur coming in fast from the ground, being Kid Flash. Crap, they had to send in their best to take you. Naruto grinned and turned to her. I enjoy the challenge. You can leave if you want. Jinx grinned back and shook her head. No way. I'm not leaving my leader or friend behind to this mess. She got ready and Naruto turned to his clones grabbing all the bags and nodded, and they instantly teleported to base, where he stored a Hiraishin kunai. He noticed that Donna's grip was bad. Or she planned on dropping Superboy, and that was a bad thing. He grinned. Jinx, be a deer and erupt the ground in front of us in 3, 2, 1. Jinx grinned and charged a big hex bolt and fired it in a big wave in front of them, the ground darkening a little. Donna had dropped Superboy, and then the big wave hit. And Starfire caught him. Kid Flash, watch out. Superboy looked up to her. Let me go. I was about to shake them off the ground for the strategy. He seen as Kid Flash ran straight for them. And the ground cracked under him and he tripped on a ledge that popped up and spun him, slamming him into the ground. Superboy looked surprised. Oh, thanks. Kid Flash groaned as he got up and looked to the two. That'll teach me to not listen to the former team's suggestions. Truthfully, because of training, getting to know each other, and fighting crime together, they didn't get into too much detail on every single villain. Jinx, Mammoth, and Gizmo were 3 of the 5 that weren't mentioned to them yet. The Titans landed and Donna turned to Starfire. Jinx has control over Loctite. How was she able to make the earth crack like that? Starfire glared at Kitsune X. Kid Flash's chances to make it safely over that were simply lowered. It was structurally unsound and it burst when he stepped on it because that is how her magic works. Static hummed in thought. I see. So we should tread cautiously. Bad luck magic and Kitsune X's own power. This will be tough. XXX with the rest of Team Pandora XXX. Mammoth groaned as he put more bars up for Kid to transport. Sorry, that's the rest. I think this is enough though, because this will be filling up a lot of empty space. We shouldn't be too greedy. Shigo was grinning as she came out with more money. Oh, this is good. I never had a success this huge. I am so glad I joined you guys. No stupid little girl wanting to take me on just because I don't feel like being a hero. Gizmo heard his pack go off and growled. Crap. Damn Titans are here. Kid, get the loot. Shigo grinned and punched her hand, walking to the entrance. Let's see if they live up to their hype. You guys go. I wanna take 'em on. Mammoth looked as Kid started teleporting the shipment to base and then to Gizmo. Last chance to leave before they arrive. Think we should go. Gizmo grumbled a bit, thinking of possibilities. He screamed as he rubbed his head. Damn it. If we leave Shigo here alone, Naruto kills us and we regret it before he even tries. We stay here, we're as good as done for. No doubt the new Titans are going to be here. Private Hive rushed in. 3 Titans, sir. Raven, Beast Boy and Cyborg. He came up. I don't see anyone else. No Robin and no Starfire, sir. Mammoth thought about this real quick before nodding to Gizmo. We can take them. Besides, Naruto's been jacking up our training, so even if the Titans are better we aren't slouches. They had been training for the last week, on all their strengths helping their weaknesses vanish. Gizmo sighed but nodded. Fine. Private, Mammoth, Zeta Strike. Shigo, with me on Delta formation. Go. Private Hive and Mammoth ran outside quickly as Shigo and Gizmo went out the back. Outside, Raven, Cyborg and Beast Boy landed and seen Mammoth and Hive. Cyborg aimed his sonic cannon. Give yourselves up, and maybe we'll go easy on you. Mammoth chuckled. Sorry metalhead, not gonna happen. Hive. He grabbed Hive and threw him at Cyborg, Hive's shield going up as he flew like a missile at Cyborg. Beast Boy turned into a gorilla and caught Hive, falling back and slamming him into the ground as Cyborg jumped on Beast Boy's raised legs. Beast Boy kicked Cyborg into the air and Raven picked up a nearby empty car and threw it at Mammoth. Before Cyborg could fire at the car, though, he was hit by a glowing green hand and slammed into the ground, and Gizmo tackled Raven down as well. Beast Boy got up and turned back. Not good. Raven. Cyborg got up and growled, Raven slamming a mailbox into Gizmo to get him off and flies by them. He looked at them. Motion 78. Gizmo aimed some rockets at Beast Boy as Private Hive reared his shield back. Raven seen this started her spell. Azarath, Metrion, Zinthos. She picked Mammoth up, and threw him at Gizmo. Gizmo jumped into the air and fired at Beast Boy, Mammoth hitting the ground and grabbing a concrete slab from the street and smacking Cyborg with it as he came around at him. Cyborg was in the air, but Beast Boy was there, catching him and throwing him at Private Hive. Just as he was about to hit Private Hive, Shigo landed on his shield just as he threw it out to hit with, firing her from it fiercely. Shigo's hands glowed green as she threw a fist at Cyborg, his own crashing against her. Sadly, she wasn't about to try flesh against skin, and generated an explosive blast of her energy between them, making Cyborg fly back and into the air. Raven caught him before he went through a building, but Mammoth caught her legs and slammed her into the ground before throwing her to Gizmo. Gizmo catching her in a high tensile steel cable. He grinned. Take that, you pit sniffers. Shigo landed and looked around. Where's the third one? The green kid. She hadn't waited any longer. As the ground under them burst out, a giant T-Rex coming from within the ground before turning into a kangaroo and jumping on top of Private Hive, slamming him into a crater in the ground. Shigo tackled him and slammed a fist into his stomach before kicking off him and into the air, flipping before landing on her feet. Damn, should have known. Come on, kid, get your fill. Mammoth ran to help Shigo out, but Cyborg landed on top of him and slammed him to the ground, and pointed his blaster to his face. Freeze. Raven picked Gizmo into the air and dismantled his equipment, and he was left with only his hands. She wrapped him up in the same cable he tried on her and hummed. Ironically, you're a victim of your own tech. Who's smart now? Shigo cursed, looking behind her to see Raven, and in front to see Beast Boy in gorilla form. They're better than I thought. Damn, we should have just left. Wait, what did Naruto tell me? She remembered during their training the other day that he told her something important as she had to face 5 of him at once. He said, facing multiple opponents stronger than you, don't hold back, and don't think about your next move. Act quick, use your gut and fire off all your power. Chances are, they will not see it coming. She grinned before standing tall, letting her energy draw back into her body. Beast Boy and Raven went to subdue her, but she yelled, turning and aiming her energy hands at them both, firing off rapidly with multiple projectile blasts. Raven flew up into the air as Beast Boy got hit, being so close to her and not as fast as Raven. She slammed her hands into the ground and the very ground exploded under her, blasting debris everywhere. Cyborg jumped out of the way of some debris coming right at him, but Mammoth grabbed his leg and slammed him into one of the rubble boulders, smashing him to the ground from the force as he got knocked out. Mammoth rose up and grabbed Gizmo, rushing to Hive. Shigo, cover me. Beast Boy turned into a rhino and rushed him, but Shigo blasted him with an explosive blast from her hands, and firing projectiles all over the sky at Raven, who dodged and shielded herself over and over. Mammoth grabbed Hive and started running. Let's go. Backup is here. Shigo looked up as Naruto, or what they didn't know yet was actually a clone, came from the sky and landed near them. She grinned. All yours. She rushed off with the team and let Naruto take them. Naruto simply threw his Hiraishin Kunai and teleported behind Raven, slamming a Rasengan into her back, and then to Beast Boy and kicking him hard in the head. He puffed into smoke after the others left, all of them making it back to base easily. XXX with Naruto, Jinx and the rest of the Titans XXX. Superboy took a deep breath and blew hard. A chilling cold swept in front of him and turned the ground into ice as it came to Naruto. Naruto jumped up and fired his first wrist blade out at him. Unlike Batman, who dodged it, Superboy caught it. That was a mistake. But not Superboy's, as Naruto teleported to him and Superboy slammed a harsh hook into his chest, forcing him back and skidding along the ground. Naruto landed on his knees and leaned forward on all fours, coughing a bit. Okay, note to self. Don't take on super strength without some of your own. Wonder Girl landed on the ground hard and then rose with a kick to his chin, sending him into the air speedily. Naruto groaned as he tried to regain himself, but suddenly found himself zapped to the roof of the tall building he flew up. Naruto groaned but regained himself. Damn, guess I underestimated you guys. Sorry, won't do that again. He teleported to the sword, bring unstuck from the building as he did, and picked Superboy up and swung him around. Catch. He threw him at Starfire, whom was flying right at him from above, and she caught him, swinging him back around and back to the ground. Naruto jumped up and used Superboy as a springboard as he flipped and kicked Starfire into a nearby building and then standing on the air. He looked as Jinx was currently in trouble against Kid Flash. Come on, I taught you better than that, Jinx. Jinx just watched him go round and round. KF grinned. Come on, you think you can get me again with your magic? I won't fall for that twice. Jinx smirked and jumped high into the air, landing on the roof and slamming her hands in the edge, vibrating it with her magic. Kid Flash stopped in time to see the roof collapse from above him. She fired a huge hex bolt into the lamps ahead and jumped back into the air, aiming for Naruto. The lamps burst and electricity sparked around, trapping Kid Flash between it and the rubble. He instantly got buried though. Superboy burst from the rubble himself, having fell into the tunnels below and watching from inside. He cleaned off the rubble and pulled Kid Flash up. He groaned. Superboy, remind me to run faster than lightning one day. Superboy smirked. If we make it out of here. He let KF walk and looked to see Jinx flying at Starfire, via Naruto throwing her, and then catching Wonder Girl in midair with a grapple. We gotta bring the A game, let's go. Naruto grinned as he grappled with Wonder Girl, feeling her strength. Well, guess you're tougher than you look. Good, you'll need to face me. He pulled her in and slammed a knee into her stomach, slamming an elbow into her back afterwards. He grabbed her before she could fly down and lifted her up to a slamming fist into her face and then let her fly into the rubble below, and gasped, seeing Superboy jump at him at high speed. Naruto turned out of the way as Superboy lunged, but failed to expect him to be good at martial arts. As he grabbed Naruto and slammed a kick into his chest and making him fly down into the ground and into a crater. Jinx had slammed her Hex Bolt hands into Starfire's Star Bolt hands, and the clashing energies slammed them both back, Jinx flying over the roof of the shop they had robbed, and was caught by one of the clones nearby. She nodded and looked around for the real one, and saw him getting up from a crater as Wonder Girl ran for him, Kid Flash rushing up a skyscraper to get at them. Jinx jumped from the clone and fired off a hex bolt to the glass in front of Kid Flash, making it shatter as soon as she stepped on it. He started to fall soon after, but vibrated his arms outward to shove the air until he could touch the glass again and started running down. Wonder Girl jumped and landed in the crater, but Naruto was not there, but behind her. She cursed and turned, only to find him starting his attack, kicking hard to her side. Wonder Girl caught it, grunting a bit as she finally felt his strength without being knocked back, and it was impressive still. She grabbed his leg and rose him up, but he rolled back and slammed a kick into her chin, making her fall back and letting go. Naruto pushed off the air and slammed a hell into her stomach and then jumping, getting out of Superboy's way as he landed on top of Wonder Girl, but not touching her. Naruto teleported his sword into his hand and pointed it to Superboy. You've got some punch. I'm still sore from the first one you gave me. So, you're Superboy. I guess you can't do much like the big man. But you know, you're presenting me with a challenge I cannot help but want. Superboy got ready for a fight. I would rather not be compared to Superman. I may have the shield, but I am far from just some sidekick. You'll see soon enough I can be my own person. Superboy charged fast and threw a right hook. Naruto dodged it and backed up, and seen him strike again with a flying roundhouse, and landing with a spinning sweep kick before rushing with another right hook, and Naruto ducked, jumped, and spun around the strikes, and slashed his sword into Superboy's chest, cutting into his shirt and the shield and forcing him back. Superboy still stood and growled. Naruto hummed. Not bad. You're fierce, determined, fast and strong. But you lack the grace or the subtlety to be a threat to me when I fight with speed and skill. Still, if you manage to get lucky, you'll knock me around like a rag doll. Like this. Naruto turned only to see Starfire tackle him and force him into a building, and pummel him with star bolts as they went through the entire block of buildings before slamming a double fist into him and into the sky. She flew up and then down, slamming both heels into him and driving him into a crater in the street before blasting him with her eye bolts. She stopped as Static came up to her and he seen him smoking a bit. Phew, that's some fire. Did you get him? His only answer was a hex bolt making his disc flew off without him and him landing on the ground. Jinx had ran off to help, as Wonder Girl and Kid Flash had been smashed by a falling building, but Kid Flash managed to make it though, climbing on the top of it and running around to meet them. She flipped up and slammed a double hell kick into Starfire, but she flew up from the force and fired a few star bolts at the unlucky girl. Wonder Girl smashed through the rubble, but suddenly she was close-lined by Naruto, who had gotten up from the crater and rushed her. He flipped out of the way as Static tried to shock him. Well, that electrical shit is interesting, but that won't hit me twice. Static's electrical string was still going and Naruto was curious. Before gasping and looking to see a light post come and curl around his body. He grunted as he was tied up. He looked to see Superboy rush him and slammed a heel into his stomach, then uppercut his chin before grabbing his front and slammed his head into Naruto's helmet, and then swung him, tossing him into the air. Wonder Girl was there to catch him and did, grabbing him and flying down. She slammed him into the ground and leapt from the crater she created. She sighed. There, That should do it. Jinx slammed her hand into the ground and forced the ground around her to crumble, smacking Kid Flash into it and then making it erupt, and forcing him into the ground and building, knocking him out for a bit. Starfire came and punched her in the gut, making her bowl over, and then slammed her to the ground, standing over her. Jinx and Naruto lay in rubble and craters. Static went to go help Kid Flash. Well, I think we did well. All that extra practice and all that brilliant leadership put us ahead of Kitsunex. Think so. I see we only got started. They all looked as Naruto climbed from his crater. Sorry to disappoint. Superboy and Wonder Girl are strong, but no way in hell I can be beaten that easily. I faced far worse. He suddenly burst from his restraints and a red cloak wrapped around him, one of the flaps of his cape curling into a tail behind him. Let's go. Naruto grabbed his main sword and teleported his free one from the shop to him again and slashed hard, a powerful wind coming around him and forcing Wonder Girl and Starfire into the air and away, Superboy gripping the ground to stay put, but static rolling of ants hitting the wall of a building nearby. Jinx got up and coughed. Damn, she was never that rough before. She's definitely pissed off. She looked to see Naruto using one tail and two swords and smiled. Time to turn the tables then. She quickly leapt up and rushed to Static, firing a hex bolt above him to the windows and mortar, and it fell on top of him. Static had discharged a dome around him, she saw, to stop the rocks. She didn't care, and jumped on top of it, vibrating the rocks with her hex shock, and suddenly an electric burst came forth, bursting the rocks and forcing her back. She got up and looked to see him twitching, but groaning. He got up weakly and walked off. She smiled. He's running on empty. She jumped up high and slammed into him hard, forcing him down before slamming a fist into him and knocking him out. She instantly rammed to see to Naruto. Naruto grabbed Wonder Girl and slammed her into Superboy, and jumped up as Starfire tried to crash into him and into the ground. He pushed from the air and kicked Starfire, only to have her twist and slam a forceful kick to his head and knock him back a few feet. Wonder Girl threw Superboy at Naruto as he got up, but Naruto slashed hard again, cutting more into his shirt and slamming him to the ground. Naruto knew only one thing about Kryptonians and the so-called supers of Metropolis: they were invulnerable, never cut or bruised for anything. This may be a little tougher than I thought. He ducked as Starfire came upon him again, but she threw a punch and stopped, landing on her feet. She spun and slammed a heel into his chest, forcing him back, and flying at him again. He blocked her punch with the side of his blade and turned, letting her throw the second punch before slashing at her. Thing was, she flailed the cape and its cloth made a nice parry against his blade, and then rushed a left jab into his face. He leaned back and let it touch him slightly before turning around it and rushing in, slashing into her chest. She was forced back and groaned as she skid along the ground. She glared at him and rushed him fast, and he ducked under her. She stopped and dropped a hell into his head, forcing him to the ground. This is for Robin. She slammed a harsh punch into his back and then another, punching him hard again and again into a deeper and deeper crater before flying up high. She then dropped, flying downward with incredible speed as she tried to knock him out. He was tough, and she had to be tougher. She was just about to slam into him, when Jinx tackled her and forced her into a crater, and used her hex magic to break the place and send Starfire crashing into the sewers, jumping up and rushing to Naruto. Jinx grunted as he held her arm, a little pulled out of place from grabbing a rushing Starfire like that. Come on, get up. Naruto groaned and a second flap of the cape turned into a tail, and he got up. Damn, she's fierce. She must really love Robin. He looked to see Superboy and Wonder Girl charging again, and seeing them as the only two. 2-on-2, nice odds. Superboy started punching at him, making him dodge and block with his swords as Wonder Girl went for Jinx. Jinx flipped over her and went to follow. Ain't taking me down without a fight, Wonder blunder. Naruto put his swords away and charged a Rasengan, slamming it into Superboy's stomach and forcing him back. He turned to Jinx. Remember, speed and precision, don't pull your punches. Jinx ducked as Wonder Girl raced at her, backing off and rapidly shaking every kick and punch as she kept going. Naruto made sure to keep everyone with speed and skill, as long as they had that they could face equal terms with the Titans even if they too trained. Superboy roared, and this time, he suddenly turned around with his attacks. He kicked straight for Naruto's groin and stomach, no need for limbs or head with his blows, he wanted to break Naruto for this. Naruto caught each one, letting his body move past slightly to let the blows drive around, letting the force diminish before letting go of each strike. He jumped back and sighed, rubbing his hands. Damn, you're not too shabby. More actual training, you'll be a greater force to deal with. Sorry, but this is the end. Can't pull a heist and expect to lose to heroes like you can we. Naruto gained a third tail and was on Superboy like white on rice, his hands swirling in chakra as if his hands were as he slammed them into Superboy harder and harder, running and charging as he punched Superboy backwards. Naruto roared as he drew his sword and slashed down with incredible force, smashing Superboy's head into the ground and through it, into the tunnels below, the ground slicing into pieces from his sword. He went back to normal and put his sword back, looking to see Jinx finish hers. Wonder Girl and Jinx were facing off, Jinx keeping her hands ready for her magic, and Wonder Girl ready to get physical. Usually, the magical won out, but who knew when Jinx wanted to prove her skills in combat to Naruto. Wonder Girl was a warrior, thanks to training with her mentor and the other Amazons. She rushed with a spinning high kick, which she used to lift herself and slam her heel up for a diversionary strike. Jinx ducked under and flipped backwards, dodging them both before rushing in and sliding on the ground, between Wonder Girl's legs. Wonder Girl looked shocked and turned, but seen Jinx push herself up on her hands and slammed both heels deep into Wonder Girl's stomach. She landed on her feet and jumped, spinning before landing on the ground where Wonder Girl once lay, but she had rolled off and gotten up, rushing in for the next strike. Jinx rolled around it and spun fast, then rammed an uppercut into Wonder Girl's chin, forcing her up and back. Jinx ran up and jumped high. This is it. She slammed down on the ground, slamming both hands into Wonder Girl's stomach, knocking the wind from her, making her groan. Jinx ran off and got to Naruto. Now's the time to go, we outstayed our welcome. Naruto nodded and teleported them both back to base. Starfire burst from the ground, Superboy following behind, and she looked around. They're gone. They got away. Static groaned as he stood up. That was rough. I doubt we could have gotten them anyway, seems Kitsune X is training his team good. Ow. Wonder Girl sighed and grunted as she got on her feet, holding her stomach. This was a failure. Let's go see about the others and get back to the tower. We'll need time to heal from this. Superboy and Starfire went to help Kid Flash and Static, Wonder Girl going to see about the other Titans. She seen they were pounded into the ground and woke them up before they all went back to the tower. XXX with Naruto and Team Pandora XXX. Everyone was enjoying the spoils of their success, Shigo flipping through some of the cash as Mammoth lifted the gold around, as a workout and as a way to feel the weight of their success. Gizmo was grinning and counting every single cent, with Kid staring at the bars intently. Private Hive was trying to stick some gold bars on his shield, weirdly, and Naruto and Jinx were on the couch. They were hit harder than anyone else here. Shigo went to them. Hey, how was your trip? Successful. Naruto rubbed his head. Yeah, we got everything. And got hit pretty hard. Superboy got a few hits in. Jinx groaned and held her stomach. And Starfire was much more vicious than normal. Think the loss of Robin made her freak out. Naruto looked at her. She must be in love with him. Only thing I can imagine. Team heist success though, and we should rest and enjoy the spoils. Everyone partied that night to their huge success. XXX with the Titans XXX. Everyone was currently resting. Starfire came in to see Donna. Donna sat up, grunting as she held her stomach. Hey, Star, you okay? Starfire nodded and looked down. I am sorry I went overboard and failed to follow your plans. It was my fault. Kitsune X escaped. Donna smiled sadly. It's my fault. I should have been more helpful. You did all you could, you even did something I could barely believe, you knocked him around like a rag doll. Little more training, a little more teamwork, and we'll be able to take him. Starfire nodded and sighed. I still wish I had not fell through so much earth thanks to Jinx making me unlucky enough to do so. I will try harder. We should rest a few days and get ready for the next time. Donna nodded and smiled. I'm glad you'll try harder. Maybe now we can be closer, this way we can be a better team. Starfire nodded and left, Donna smiling and resting. Guess it wasn't a total loss today. Starfire is more open. With that said, she slept, everyone else sleeping as well to regain their strength. For round 2 that was coming soon enough. It was success fever at Pandora HQ, everyone checking their loot. Shigo counting her hundreds. 110 bens, 111 bens. Having too much fun finally succeeding. Kid was just enjoying his bag of gold bars in his hands. Mammoth was currently juggling 10 massive bars of gold in the air, and everyone wondered how on earth he learned to juggle, because they never seen him do it. Private Hive was kind of not in the living room, preferring to stash his gold in a chest in his room. Gizmo was enjoying his bags of money and gold and calculating how much he could get in the black market to help him and the team succeed even more. He even planned a way to give the team a better relaxation area. Jinx was enjoying her collected items, a black phoenix statue, some jewelry she had found, and even a small knife that looked like it fit her. It had an incantation in Latin that read, and there was a verified note she seen, lucky as dark magic. Naruto was in his room, putting everything he obtained in order. The shop had a great assortment of items, and these were no exception. He put a traditional Japanese sword, made from the famed steel back years ago when it was still available. It was in superb condition, it was also a kodachi, whilst he also had a pair of nunchaku, made from solid bamboo. The prize of his collection of weaponry was actually the strangest item he had gotten. It was a very old, very fantasy-like, but authentic sword from Japan. It was not a normal sword. The blade was double-sided, having ridges long ways on the blade, and if you counted the pieces between the ridges as it got thinner from middle to edges, it would count 9. This thing also thinned a little at the guard and grew wider and bigger as it went up the blade until it curved in and made a piercing tip. The blade itself had a reddish hue. The handle was a small circle with 9 spiraling lines with spaces between the lines, and a smooth handle. At the end of the hilt, it had a fox head. The authentication papers he read on it when he first seen it a week ago called it the Hyu Kitsune no Kami, or, in English, 9 Fox God. He actually placed that on his mantle and made a note to make sure he would, later on, put seals on the full Tang blade's hilt to make it better for actual use. Besides the weapons he got a few other things, such as books he thought were interesting to look at, a poster or two, hell even tarot cards. It was basically just small trinkets he wanted, just something he thought would be interesting to have or use later on. As he got his suit off he noticed the power core was cool, even after the use of 3 tails to take on Superboy and a really radical Starfire. He still wondered where she held that kind of skill and power for so long. As he got a book to read he seen Jinx come in. Hey, I see you got your stuff all set around or at least put up for when you actually have a place for it. Crazy heist huh? Naruto chuckled nervously. You have no idea. Actually, I wanted to see how everyone did together, so I can help them work on being better, and thus we can be better thieves. If we don't get better, then the Titans will clobber us. If we get better we get more money and things we like. This heist was a test for the team. Jinx hummed but pouted. Seriously, you think we can't handle ourselves? I will admit, without you we'd have already been toast, but we wouldn't have it any other way. We will get better because we want to keep getting things we want. So try to be more considerate would ya? Naruto nodded and smiled. I will. I just wanted to try this test once, and we passed. With what we got, I am sure we can get ready for the onslaught. No doubt the Titans are gonna get ready for the next round. Jinx frowned. And there's new ones too. Wonder Girl, Superboy, Kid Flash. Not to mention Static. All of them are gonna be heavy hitters. Naruto groaned. Superboy packs a damn wallop. Wonder Girl is way skilled, but Static and Kid Flash hold no fear for me. Speed and electricity. I've seen faster, and I've been hit by and defeated enough lightning using people in my day to know what to do. Besides, this suit is insulated, he can't get me. The bigger problem is Starfire. She's got power and now she gained enough skill to actually pose a challenge. Jinx shivered. She was a woman scorned, for sure. I think she was focusing her rage at me when it was for you. By the way, think Robin is off training to fight you. Naruto knew that for sure, but not as Robin. Yeah, he is, but I have a feeling he won't be Robin next time he comes at us. Jinx looked confused but shrugged it off. Well, that is fine with me I suppose. Anyway, we succeeded, and I am going to rest. We all have fought hard and gotten bruises, but happiness in the fact we got all this stuff now is keeping us up and ignoring the pains right now. I'd rather just get some sleep than appreciate it all. Night. Naruto nodded and started reading his book. Truthfully he wasn't paying attention to the words, but the damn fox inside his head. It finally immersed. Honestly, you're this low on the chain. And better yet, those bitches are here and no doubt planning a way to finally beat you. You do know that when they finally stop fearing you, they will actually try, and I think you want to keep this world without any damn craters by using my power. Naruto went into his mind to chat it up with the fox, whom was just laying in the field Naruto made for his mindscape. Point. Listen, if you want me to be that son of a bitch from Akatsuki, I will use this Sharingan on you, but I chose never again to be a hero. I'm looking out for me, and this is what I want. I just want to relax, finally have something in my life besides crap, such as a small apartment, a starched bed, ripped walls and a lumpy couch, as well as being heartbroken with no real friends. Here I have the opposite. So, you tell me, what the hell is up your ass after months of not talking? Kyuubi stood up and looked at Naruto in a slight snarl. Threaten with that fucking eye again I will bit your head off before you can activate the bitch. Digressing. I want more action. Seriously, I love the fight you put up against Superboy and all, but Batman was a way tougher fight. We both love the skills we gained. I may have power but I still only used my skills to beat down on Konoha when I was hypnotized. That was a while back. I want more fucking action, even if it means taking on the JLU to do it. Naruto frowned. You told me they were too powerful, first of all. Second of all, even if I attempted such a thing and was able to pull it off, I would not want my friends in trouble just because I whooped the heroes. Kyuubi grumbled a bit. Fine. Listen, the reason I freaked out was to make you feel like you couldn't take them so when they came for you, you wouldn't stand a chance. If we were to face them all, though, I am pretty sure we'd be in a slight bit of trouble. They have someone who could rip this entire planet in half if he wanted to, someone faster than you can fucking see, and trust me Kid Flash pales in comparison to the real deal. That fucker is faster than Rock Lee going 7 gates. No power though, so not as big a deal. Truth is, 1 or 2 at once is barely a bruise, except for fighting Superman. He will require you to use a lot of my power to even face on an equal level. All of them at once. Your chances of winning aren't so great. I'm not gonna lie, but you still have a decent shot at it. Naruto shrugged. And I know why too. Your power is only half of its original state. Besides, I'd rather not use my Rinnegan or Sharingan for anything unless it's for something like that damn Winter Wonderland bullshit. Onto the Konoha flunkies, if you please, none of them have a chance against me at all. I made damn sure to give them a taste of that back when I is still in our original dimension. If they wanna try, I can whoop them still. Besides, only real threats were Hinata and Kakashi, and Hinata is out of the picture till further notice, and Kakashi basically can't do crap without a kill on sight order. Most of his techniques are based on assassinations. No doubt, though, he was given the authorization to kill on sight anyone in the way of my capture. Kyuubi nodded. Fine, fine. Just make sure to get some real action soon. I'd rather not have to watch you laze around too much. I know for sure you want more skill fighting. Naruto smiled. Nice seeing you too, and no worries, I will be fighting more, just be patient. With that he left the Kyuubi to his rest. Little did he know, he was about to receive a great team member, and someone to spar with skill more often with. XXX Ravager's underground base, 10 miles south of Titan's Tower XXX. Ravager was watching 9 screens at once in front of her, her body limp in a chair, a needle with very little chemical left in it sitting on a table beside her, and in the dark. The only light came from the screens as she watched them, some of the old battles her father had with the Titans, some recoded recently, and much to her amazement she managed to capture the fight between Kitsune X and the newer Titans. She hummed as she watched. This Kitsune X, very formidable, and seems to have some kind of precognitive vision. Same as me. Do you hear me? I know what you plan to do. Out of the shadows behind her was Kakashi. He had managed to escape the cell and try to either kill Ravager or force her to talk. Precognitive vision, as in seeing the future. You have this ability. Ravager turned her chair and put her hands together in front of her. Yes, I saw at least 5 ways you could have killed me. Something, I believe you said as you impaled me in the vision, sounding like Reikiri. Another way was a knife to the back through the chair, and another was poison. Need I say the others? Kakashi stepped up and just looked unassuming. No need, I can clearly see you could counter anything I try if you wanted. How little he knew at this moment. So why try? Ravager chuckled softly. Whilst true, I would rather we both be ready for the upcoming storm. Now, the information on Kitsune X. His precognitive vision. Kakashi decided it better to show it. He lifted his headband to show his Sharingan eye. This. He has one as well, and so does Sasuke. Except, Sasuke has one in each eye, whilst me and Naruto, Kitsune X, have it in only one eye. I am guessing you have an idea why. Ravager nodded. Yes, I find it rude to finish someone talking, even when I know what they will say, and interesting. The Sharingan has more functions than just being able to predict an opponent's next move. Kakashi nodded. Besides that, it also has the ability to copy taijutsu, genjutsu, or ninjutsu. You should know each of them, I think. He would rather get to the point of this, seeing as he was growing tired of it. Ravager nodded. Yes. Before I let you ask me questions, I want you to tell me. What is that aura around him? She pointed to the screens and one showed him with a red aura and his cape tails turning into artificial fox tails behind him. Kakashi narrowed his eyes, but before he could speak she narrowed her own at him. If you wish to catch him, I must know everything, so no classifieds with me. You give me all the details, I give you all mine. That is how this plan will work, otherwise I think you will have a lot of trouble getting through the Titans and the Hive, to get to Naruto. And last time I checked, Naruto was it, beat you by himself. Kakashi just stared at her, looking for her to even flinch and accept it. No dice, as it seemed, and he sighed in defeat. The Kyuubi, one of the 9 major powers in our world. Huge beasts, wielding special powers, and have a number of tails, ranging from 1 tail to 9. Kyuubi is 9 tails. Ravager nodded. And these beasts are sealed inside humans as nuclear deterrents apparently. Well, when I have more information on the new Titans, and 2 I have no clue about, and 1 in particular of the old ones I am very troubles by now, I will tell you, and we may plan together. Fair enough. Kakashi thought it over. Seeing the screens and seeing Starfire much fiercer than normal, he understood she needed time to figure it out. He nodded. Fine. By the way, we'd much rather do more than sit around. Let us walk around from time to time, or I might just kill that butler of yours. Ravager nodded. Fair enough. Now leave me be. Kakashi left and she turned back to the screens. Good thing my father taught me how to bluff. Otherwise he would have known about my weakness. She looked to the needle. Need a serum that doesn't make me unable to lift a finger, but still allows me to see further ahead in the future. She just kept an eye on those monitors, making sure to study every movement. XXX morning, Titan's Tower. XXX. Sure, butt-kicking Central last night, Pandora tore them a new one, and they saw just how effective Kitsune X can really be against them when he tries. Beast Boy and Cyborg were in the garage, tuning up the T-car. Raven was in her room again. Static was actually out doing patrol on a small theft. Nothing on Kitsune X's level by any means, which left Starfire, Kid Flash, Superboy and Wonder Girl making sure of everything. Wonder Girl, Kid Flash, and Superboy worked with Robin before, and didn't play many games when a serious threat was on their list and out free causing havoc, and Starfire was not in the mood to play games either. Wonder Girl pulled up the new record on Pandora. Alright, apparently this is a different group altogether than the Hive. Whilst holding up the bank, they called themselves Pandora. As in, the mythological box given to the maiden Pandora, in which contains everything horrible and nightmarish, but also contains one small hope. If it is a fitting name, I wonder what kind of hope they have that makes them different. Kid Flash looked to Starfire. You said Kitsune X was first part of the Hive, and then turned from then to be Red X, and soon after his mishap with you guys he turned into Kitsune X. Man, sounds like he's alias Central. Wonder Girl pulled up the files for Jinx, Gizmo and Mammoth. As we seen, they have as good a teamwork as our own trio, even if we didn't rightfully see all three together. What bothers me is Jinx, she's more capable a hand-to-hand combatant than I believed at first. She put that in. She then pulled up Private Hive, Kid Wicked, and Shigo. These three I didn't get to read fully on. Mercenary, teleporter and an unknown variable. Who is she? She looked to Starfire. Starfire hummed but shrugged. I honestly do not know. She hasn't been here before, otherwise we would have known her by now. The guess of everyone else here is going to be as good as mine. Wonder Girl sighed. Superboy started typing over her and she looked at him. What are you doing? Superboy looked to her. You're not exactly computer smart, and I had to be more often with Dick than you did. I know how to search. She nodded and let him sit and type. Superboy huffed and started a scan on the face. I have the feeling she has a criminal record already, we just have to figure out who she is and what she can do. It took only 10 minutes and they got a match. Superboy looked a little puzzled. Hero turned bad. Says here she was a part of a scientific family, and they all had an accident, and afterwards they all gained special abilities. The Go family turned into Team Go. Shigo Go, international henchman for hire, has enhanced endurance, stamina, black belt in 3 martial arts, and her powers are energy-based projectiles that are shot from her hands. She was mostly a part of another Rouge list, a Kim Possible, also a hero, but not someone who will turn up where other heroes are already taking down villains. She also understands the League's work in issues threatening the planet and she only takes on the cases that they normally wouldn't handle together. Starfire was impressed. You must have trained with him a lot and been a great friend and teammate to him to learn how to find information like he does. Superboy smiled. He was like a brother to me. But there we have it, Shigo and her record. We are facing a really diverse force. A genius, 2 muscles, a transport, 2 athletic challenges, and the leader, who I have to say is going to be the equivalent of fighting of Superman and Batman at the same time. We are out of our league. But we do know this, they still haven't the tactical skill to bring us down now. Donna, you know the drill, you're the tactician. Wonder Girl nodded and smiled. My pleasure. Wait, what's this? She had Superboy pull up another file. Blackfire. Someone you know, Starfire. Starfire just stood there, staring at her sister for a while before closing her eyes, tilting her head down. My sister. She came here before, and was here only to make me an intergalactic criminal. She thinks I ruined her life, when I did no such thing. I keep trying to help her. And Dick did explain in the file not to mess with her, I will be the one she is after and I am the one that needs to talk to her. Wonder Girl thought on this. She sighed and smiled. Fine, I respect both of your choices, so let's forget about it. So, we know what we are up against, we should train to make sure we don't lose to them again. Main problem is gonna be X. Superboy closed the files and got up. I'm getting some air. Can't do anything without at least some relaxation. You had me patrol all last night after that fight, in search of their base. Wonder Girl nodded. Fine, just make sure to be read for training today before dinner. He waved off and Starfire looked to Wonder Girl. He is very quiet, kind of like Raven. Wonder Girl smiled a little. I guess you can say he had a troubling past. It's not easy knowing you're just a clone of Superman made by an evil organization. Starfire looked surprised hearing that. Wonder Girl nodded. Hard to believe he's a hero, right? He wants to prove he isn't some science project, nor some kind of generic Superman copy, that he is himself and his own person as well as his own hero. He has a mind of his own. Starfire looked at him as he walked out the door and smiled. It's always interesting seeing friends of Dick so much like him in so many ways. He may not be here now, but his spirit is here with us. Wonder Girl nodded, smiling. Just bear with it. Dick doesn't give up on anything, he will be back and better than ever. With that, Starfire went to her room to gain a quick rest, but found a note sphere on the outside of her window. One that was usually used on her planet during the wars. She grabbed it and a hologram popped up. Her sister, Blackfire. Hello, dear sister. After so many failures, I finally succeeded. Meet me at the Jump City main bridge tonight, sunset, and come alone. I want to settle this just between us. Starfire looked at the sphere in her hand and closed her eyes. She opened them and they glowed as she destroyed the thing. No, sister, if you continue down the same path you shall always fail. I must show you the right path, or you will never become the heir to the throne as you so see fit for you. Blackfire picked the wrong week to decide to fuck with her sister over who's better suited for the crown. And that was going to be the biggest mistake, and the best salvation, for her life. XXX with Naruto, Sunset XXX. Naruto had taken to donning his X suit and going out to patrol potential targets for another robbery. No one would expect him and Pandora to try again so soon. It had become nighttime, so he could easily stealth his way without using energy, so Raven never found him. He knew she could if he didn't hide himself. He was about to teleport to one of his kanai in the middle of the city when he suddenly seen a big explosion on a bridge on the other end of town. What the fuck? That looked like Starfire's bolts. And, strangely, a black version. Whoa. He seen rapid-fire green bolts and a few black ones flying around in the sky and decided to get a closer look. Naruto teleported to the nearest kanai and sat down, watching the battle in the sky, activating his Sharingan to gain a better look. He was impressed by Starfire's determination alright, but what really intrigued him was the fact the other one was just like her, yet was determined to use her skills rather than her powers. He watched in amazement at this fight. Starfire rose up, hands and eyes glowing as she stared down her sister, Blackfire, whom rose up huffing from anger. You were never this good before, you were always too sweet and innocent to know how to really fight. Too naive to understand the true way of a real warrior. And you still don't understand. I will prove I am more worthy of father's praise. Blackfire rushed in and threw a hard punch, only to have it dodged as Starfire twisted around it and clotheslined her in the air, forcing her to spin a little and fall. Blackfire got her bearing quick and turned in time for her sister to ram into her, tackling her, and forcing them both to the ground, making a crater. Blackfire roared with energy and blasted Starfire back, forcing her higher in the sky with a powerful beam of her own before flying right back into the fight. You won't beat me again. I had to go through hell and back, and I won't go back again. Never again. I won't be the disowned daughter whilst you have everything for any longer. Blackfire roared and rushed in, firing punch after punch at Starfire, who was having a little trouble blocking or dodging half of them and getting clocked in the jaw and stomach with fierce energy fists, and Blackfire twisted, raising a leg, and roared as she slammed it down hard and axe kicked Starfire down and into the water near the bridge. Naruto whistled. Damn, she's got some moves. Still, something is off. Wanting to prove her power and yet only using skill. Either she has no real power or she thinks skill is power. Let's see. Starfire splashed from under the water and rammed both fists into her sister and fired a heavy blast into Blackfire's chest, and cracking the armor she was wearing, and blasting her back to the beach. Blackfire hit the ground hard and groaned in pain. Starfire descended a bit to level with her sister. Sister, I do not wish to fight, nor take anything from you. You've disowned yourself, and for that you wish my torture. If you want the crown so badly, you must think of not yourself but our race. You will always be my sister, and I will always love you for you are my family, but I will not allow you to hurt my friends, nor harm the earth for your selfish desires to bring me pain. Blackfire snarled. You think this is about torturing you? Don't make me laugh. All I have gained I gained on my own whilst you got everything. This isn't about torturing you, this is about showing how much better I am than you, how I deserve what you get. You didn't have to work as hard as I have. Blazejfire saw her bolts were starting to diminish and scoffed. Great. The armor is too damaged. I'll need to use the minimal of my powers to show her. Let us finish this, sister dear. Blackfire roared and blasted with immense speed into the sky and rammed a forceful punch into Starfire's stomach, which was actually surprisingly powerful, knocking the wind out of Starfire before pulling her back by her arm and ramming a foot into the same spot, then twisting fast before throwing Starfire into the same crater she herself was just in before attacking her sister now. Starfire caught herself on the ground, heaving and holding her stomach, but eyes glowing. Blackfire roared as she tried to finish it, only for Starfire to turn and, at point-blank range, fire her eye bolts into her sister, tearing some of the cracked armor apart and forcing her back, the force and power she used enough to knock her sister unconscious. Naruto narrowed his eyes seeing this and was quick, suddenly speeding and catching Blackfire before she went into the water, and Starfire stopped in front of him, having tried to catch her sister before he did. Starfire pointed her starbolt at him and narrowed her eyes. What are you doing here? Also, I suggest you let my sister go. Now. Naruto looked to Starfire and chuckled. After the whooping I gave you guys last time, you really wanna try me? Especially since I got your sister here. You're willing to nearly kill your sister over a chance at me. Heartless, I'd say. Starfire scoffed hard, her muscles tight as she tried to figure out what to do. Before she could figure out a plan, Naruto just vanished and she grit her teeth. She fired a bolt into the water and roared a bit. Why? This was not her week. She returned to the tower, and just sat in her room, holding the cape she had onto her and tearing. Dick, I miss you so much. Please return soon, we are useless without you. The others may not be as bad as she was currently, but they still were having troubles coping with the situations right now, and this was just going to be the same situation until Dick returned. It was going to be a rough time for them, but they all knew never give up this fight. Dick wouldn't, so neither would they. Cyborg was keeping everything in top shape for practice and in case they needed anything. Beast Boy was keeping busy so he didn't go crazy, and Raven was meditating to keep her grief and anger at bay. Static was in his room looking at the floor a bit and wondering what he could do. Wonder Girl was praying to her gods and looking at her shield, sword, and helmet she kept with her adoptive culture of the Amazons. Kid Flash was sleeping, such a carefree person, whilst Superboy was on the roof, looking at the sun setting. The whole tower was buzzing with some type of activity, and the whole tower was in disarray. XXX Pandora HQXXX. Sister. Blackfire forced her body upright in intense fashion, just before growling in pain and holding her stomach, bowling over on the bed. She looked around and seen she was in a room with medical gear, and then saw someone was beside her. Naruto was still in costume as he looked to her. Relax. You're not in battle anymore. Pretty crazy one you did have though, gotta say you were pretty good. Sadly, you came into battle Starfire at the wrong time. Blackfire growled and tried to charge her bolts, but found her energy was depleted. She got into a combat stance and Naruto stood before her, not changing, not tense, just calm and standing before her, non-hostile. Relax. Blackfire shifted about a little before speaking. Who are you? Am I in another prison? You cannot keep me in here forever. Naruto put his hands up slowly, and shook his head. You've got the wrong idea. Not uncommon, mind you, but one I would rather put past us. This is Pandora HQ, a secret base hidden on the outskirts of Jump City. This is not a government site, nor a prison. This is a home for super-powered thieves. Blackfire was a little puzzled by this. Naruto saw this and, after a few clicks, he slipped his helmet off. I'm Naruto, leader of Pandora. This team is basically a rival team to the Titans. We are not villains, nor heroes, we are just thieves. Blackfire stood in stance for a moment before letting part of her guard down. Blackfire. No affiliations. Naruto nodded. Blackfire. Thought so. But the big question is not your name, but your power. You are fighting with a martial arts style, and not trying to blast me into next week, may I ask why? Blackfire growled more. That's a private matter. All I can say to you is I don't need my powers to take you on. Naruto chuckled a bit but smiled. I like that. Still, your skills alone, and apparently your inability to use your powers as well, will not beat Starfire, not anymore. She's become the perpetual sleeping monster being woken up. Trust me, she's not right in the head anymore. Blackfire frowned and looked at him weirdly. What do you mean? What happened to her? Naruto shrugged. No one knows for sure yet, but the theory going around the base is, she's lost a friend close to her, and theory is she loved this friend. Robin left the team, if you didn't hear, and ever since she's been packing heavier punches, racing speed, and skills I never seen her use before. Blackfire blinked and thought a moment before softly chuckling, but the chuckle grew into full-blown laughter. Oh, that is rich. Ha 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 ha. My little sister fell for him. I knew right off she had something special for the guy when I first visited, but this. That's amazing. Makes sense though, we Tamaranians are emotional. We use our feelings to use our powers, so if she is missing someone she loves, I should have noticed, she would become a true warrior. It's how our mother was when our dad went missing one time. Naruto smiled and chuckled a bit. A little about your race and culture I know about now. Good start. We fought against the Titans the other day, and beat them whilst robbing a bank. Starfire was pretty rough, but I beat her. Blackfire gripped her hands into fists and looked at Naruto. You beat my sister. You don't look that impressive, suit or not. I bet you don't have any powers. Naruto smirked and put his hand out, and suddenly a Rasengan formed. First rule of a fight, never underestimate your opponent. Always expect them to be more powerful and learn their weakness before pulling out all the stops. If you are speaking with Tamaranian pride, you have spunk, but you're not using your head. It doesn't matter what race you are, what powers you have, there will always be someone out there who can and will defeat you someday. Blackfire looked down, defeated as she felt powerless. Naruto knew it was now or never to ask the big question, and turned his back to her. Are you out for revenge against your sister? You want to beat her just to prove you're better than her, to kill her maybe. You want her laid out before you unconscious or otherwise just because you hate her. Blackfire snarled. You do not know anything about me, so do not even put those words in my mouth. Yes, I hate my sister. Yes, I want to prove myself, but not to my sister, to everyone. To my people, to my father, I want to prove that I am the one who should be seen as a true warrior, as the true princess of Tamarin. My sister, innocent and naive, has always gotten everything. The love of the people, the next in line for the crown, father's respect and love, she even has friends who would do anything for her, and I am all alone, no one to show me they care, no one to who understands. I had to steal and fight, preactically kill just to survive. I had to work my ass off and had bruises, I actually had to work for everything I want. Naruto smirked as she was in the middle of her big speech. Sounds a bit like me. Guess she never had anything either. Well, we will change that in time. Blackfire was huffing, gritting her teeth and snarling as her knuckles turned white from the strain she put on them, her body tense and shaking as a few tears ran from her eyes. I've never had anything or anyone, and I never will, and I don't need them either. I can do things on my own, I can still fight and still win if I try. Congratulations. Blackfire looked a little surprised at Naruto as he turned, smiling and looking at her. You've impressed me with that. Tell you what, don't rush into your own demise or your own defeat once more, instead, stay with us, join Team Pandora, and I will help you. For no charge whatsoever. Blackfire looked shocked at this and Naruto put his hand out. You remind me of myself, and that's just one of the few reasons I came to this choice. Join us, and I personally guarantee you will be stronger, faster, and more skilled than your sister will ever dream to be. Blackfire was still stunned from this. This blonde in front of her not only understood her, and wanted to help her, but wanted to make her better, to be greater, presenting her with his offer as a friend, not just as a business choice. Naruto stayed still, awaiting her choice. There are a few catches. Her heart sunk, but none that are against who you are. You do not need to pay me, you do not need to show me any kind of appreciation except allowing us the option of becoming friends. All you need to do is promise you will not fire off like a spitfire, not rush out because you feel a bit stronger. You must promise me that you will calm down and allow yourself to finally relax. All of us will be you friends, maybe a new and better family if you allow us. What do you say? She shook herself from her stunned expression and smiled, standing tall and clapping her hand in Naruto's, nodding. That's a promise I have no quarrel against accepting. I promise. Naruto nodded back. Welcome to Pandora. Naruto turned and opened the door. Wanna meet the team? We'll also need to get to the tech room, seeing as your armor is there. Blackfire looked confused and then down at herself, seeing she was in a t-shirt and jeans. She looked at him. Alright, who changed me? Naruto chuckled. Not me. We have a couple girls on the team who volunteered to help. Your armor was busted. That last blast Starfire used bent a bit of it against your rib cage. If we didn't get it off, you'd have been unable to breathe and suffocate. Blackfire nodded and smiled a bit. Well, thanks. Guess you saved my life. My armor. It's specially designed for me. It helps me. Naruto looked at her with a puzzled look and she sighed heavily. Fine. I'm not a normal Tamarinin. I'm deformed. I was born with a rare disorder on my planet. I'd rather not tell the name. The illness I contracted at birth, it's lethal to Tamarinians. Not by death of self, but death as part of the race. Without my armor, I'm as weak as a human being. Naruto hummed. So, your armor gives you your powers. Blackfire frowned. No, it helps me become able to access them. We gain our powers by, I'll find out from Gizmo. Besides, I can tell you're uncomfortable speaking about your slight weakness like this. Let's go. He smiled at her and left the room. She smiled and followed, figuring he understood a little about her apparently. She followed him and they came into the living area. Guys, this is our newest member of the team. Blackfire. She was a little tense. Meeting up with potential new allies was a bit much, she only had to threaten to gain someone to help her out. So having them willingly become allies, and to make things crazier, them asking her to be their ally, was a bit puzzling to begin with. Hey. Shigo smirked. Well, finally, another girl here. Seriously, it's always the same everywhere I look, the majority of a team consists of males. Naruto sighed. Seriously, you're gonna talk about how girls are either superior or seem inferior. What is with you? Jinx chuckled a bit. She's just pissed that she's only seen male competition and teammates. She never did fight Raven. Shigo pouted. Hey, can you blame me? I'm used to fighting a teenage girl with extraordinary martial arts skills and female pride and all that. Blackfire chuckled a bit at that. You'd love it on Tamarin. Males are nearly died out there. Naruto groaned and had a lopsided look. Great. Now they're gonna gang up on me about this. Anyway, guys, she's joining the team. Or at least until she chooses not to be around anymore, but I highly doubt that, considering her and Shigo are connecting. Getting glares, he decided a change of subject was in order. Mammoth, I need you to clear out the storage room. Should be big enough for her needs, considering it's nearly the same size as the rest of our rooms. Private Hive, I heard about a job you might be interested in. You told me to keep a lookout for any mercenary jobs for you. Here's the coordinates. He gave a slip of paper to him and Private Hive saluted him before rushing off to get packed and off. He turned to Jinx and Shigo. Here's my share of the heist money, you three go shopping for clothes for her to wear. He gave them 10,000 bucks, that was only part of his share but enough for their needs. Considering he knew Jinx loved to get high-priced items. He looked to Kid. Kid, you were their transport and bag man. Metropolis had gotten a few new fashion media stores lately, I thought you'd go check out the latest. Kid's sweat dropped but nodded. Jinx and Shigo grinned and grabbed Blackfire, but Naruto stopped them. In an hour, Blackfire and me need to go see Gizmo about her armor. After that, you can go. Jinx, Shigo, I think it best, even when visiting another city, to get into civies to conceal your identities. Just in case. Shigo nodded and went off, whilst Jinx kissed his cheek and smiled. Be careful now. Gizmo is a little irritable. I heard him breaking shit a little while ago whilst you were checking on Blackfire's vitals. I also saw and heard electrical shocks that kind of reminded me what my black magic does to electronics when I really try. Naruto chuckled nervously and sweat dropped. Ah, no wonder the power was flickering for a few moments. I was kind of wondering about the status of our generators. Anyway, you get ready, Blackfire will be with you and Shigo to go shopping soon. Blackfire shivered a bit as Jinx went off. To tell you the truth, I'm not really a shopper. I just get what I need to survive and go on my way. I doubt they would let me do that. Naruto smiled, as he turned to go see Gizmo. Yep, reminding me of me. I didn't go after toys or shit when I was a kid, I had to trick people just to get good food. Hell, they had me pay 4 times the actual price of an item and what they did give me for that price was rotten to begin with. Blackfire blinked and then looked a little sick. Yuck. Sounds like an awful childhood to be honest. Naruto smiled brightly. Yep, you could say I was a child outcast from birth to adulthood. It was pretty wild, actually. I learned that to survive and fight I need speed and cunning. Kind of obvious, really, but for a 5-year-old to try outrunning people 3 times as fast as him on a daily basis, I guess I was a prodigy. Blackfire scoffed. Lucky you. I never had the ability to do most of the shit on my planet. I only had fighting skills, no power at all. Naruto stopped and turned to her, looking sternly. It's never easy, no matter what. The fact you even grew up learning anything that you shouldn't have grasped till later on in life makes you a prodigy in my book. Whether you had this illness or not. Hell, I was practically a prince. My father was the most powerful man in my dimension, able to take on whole armies by himself and not receive a scratch. They outcast me just because I was born with a curse that my father gave me in the first place. Blackfire looked surprised by this. No way. This guy's life sounds like mine. How can it be possible me and him have so similar a life when we are so different in race? Naruto smiled softly. I'm over it though. Hell, I saved that damn place 100 times, they still want to turn me into their little scapegoat. Thus, why I choose not to be a hero. But, because of the evil I did face, all the friends and family I lost to those same evil people, I won't become a villain. I'm fine just relaxing, getting a challenge here and there, and taking whatever I want that catches my eye. Blackfire looked at Naruto with a confused but admiring look. She smiled a little and nodded. Well, I understand that. Still, don't you wish you could get them back for that? Naruto smiled brightly. Hell, Blackfire could have sworn it was her sister's old peppy happy smile she always used when she first seen her on this planet to visit, the whole jewel-stealing case. Naruto spoke just as brightly too. Oh, them. Yeah, I don't have the urge to wreak havoc on them at all. Considering I already set the damn village on fire and let it burn as I ran away, having stole what I wanted from them that was rightfully mine in the first place. Blackfire's sweat dropped and chuckled nervously. Yeah, I can see you're pretty happy that you don't have any regrets about leaving anymore. Considering you demolished the place. Maybe he is a bit crazy and unstable, but only with right reasons as far as I can tell. Note to self. Do not piss this man off. They went into a medium-sized room full of gear and gadgets. In the middle of it all was Gizmo. Naruto smiled. Hey you damn midget, what do you got for me? Gizmo groaned and laid down a bit in frustration before turning in his seat. I got bad news, worse news, and even worse news. Which y'all want first? Should I go in order of worst to bad to from bad to worst? Naruto shrugged. Same shit to me, but to make sure we slowly get down in spirit here, from bad to worst. Gizmo nodded. Bad news is alien. And by that I mean really alien, it'll take me a few days to figure out every purpose it ever had in the first place. Worse news is, half of this shit I can't even replicate without some major key components. Naruto sighed. Let me guess. The worst news is, there's some key components missing. Gizmo snorted in frustration. Yeah, you got it, asswipe. Key components missing for major functions. Hell, I even got zapped trying to access this damn suit's internal workings. Look at this shit. I lost 5 good tools. Naruto and Blackfire looked to see 2 big tools, and 3 little ones, practically fused in a scrap pile. Naruto chuckled nervously. Well, guess we need to get you more. Alright, what's the word? Gizmo sighed, turning to get back to work as he spoke. The whole thing is built for a few things here. I managed to get the concept of the functions that was part of its wiring. And one of them brings up the question. Hey, cutie, you related to any Kryptonians? Blackfire looked confused. Who? Gizmo sighed heavily. Never mind. The reason I ask is because, apparently, your armor is designed to saturate your skin and cells in radiation to allow them to absorb ultraviolet rays. Kryptonians are able to have all their powers from absorbing yellow sunlight. Thus, why I asked. Naruto turned to Blackfire as she asked her next question. I don't know what a Kryptonian even is. Naruto smirked. You will. There are 4 on this planet. Superman, Supergirl, Superboy, and Power Girl. The first 2 and last one are in Metropolis, the third. Well, he's teaming up with the Titans, basically part of the team your sister is on. You'll meet him someday soon. Gizmo scoffed. Well, whatever the reason may be, I can at least duplicate some of these functions. After all, there have been a few suits made up to help absorb sunlight. If I got the right gear, we'd be able to at least get that function and a few others into a new suit. Titanium is lighter and more durable than this thing. Blackfire blinked but found a bit of hope. You mean, you can make a suit even stronger than that one, and still able to do what it did? Gizmo turned to her with a grin. No prob. This pit sniffer knows I'm the best damn techie on the planet. Hell, I made his suit and it's never needed to be fixed at all. All I really did was upgrade it once for his needs. Naruto gave a thumbs up. So true. I love this suit. Maybe next time we can forget the red though. Anyway, this brings up a few things I need to know. Why do you need to absorb sunlight? Blackfire sighed, crossing her arms. Well, we need them to absorb energy, and when we have that energy we can use it to power our star bolts, and also be able to fly. Remember my illness. My illness prevents me from absorbing sunlight and gaining that energy. Thus why I needed that armor. Gizmo hummed. If that's all you need, I can have a suit of armor ready for you. By the end of the month if we can steal everything we need. Blackfire looked at Gizmo with a smile that grew a bit more every second before rushing in and hugging him tight. That's great. I can hardly wait. Wow. If what they say is true, and I can have an armor that is even stronger and able to give me my powers back, and all I have to do in return is give them a chance to be friends. All I have to do is allow myself to let them in my heart and be friends with them if we allow it, and I can have better things. This is surreal. Gizmo was blushing but managed to get out of her tight hold, which wasn't very strong actually. Alright. I'll be working all-nighters for a while. Check in every now and again if you want, but try not to stall me too much. The more information I get about this thing, the better suit I can make for you. Naruto patted his shoulder. You're the best, Gizmo. Keep me up to date, and whatever we need you'll have to give me the list and we can go out and get the shit. He and Blackfire left him to his work and Blackfire was smiling. Naruto smiled and chuckled. Brightened your day I suppose. Good. Listen, enjoy it. If your life's been as bad as you say it has been, for as long as you say, then good things haven't come to you without a price. This time, no price at all, the only price is to have good moments in your life, and often. Blackfire nodded and sighed in relief. When he listed the bad news off, I lost all hope. But, he had ways to bring it back. I'm glad. Naruto nodded. Good. Get glad often. Now, I do have to make sure you understand that he may ask, or you may have to tell him yourself, on the look of your armor. I could have had any look for mine, I chose this design. Whatever look you want it, I am sure he can comply and give you exactly what you need and want. But, try not to bash him when he asks your measurements, trust me he will need to make sure the suit fits you perfectly. Blackfire chuckled lightly but smiled. If it's to help him give me a perfect fit suit so I don't move abnormally, I wouldn't give hitting him a single thought, it'll be thrown out and not be done. Naruto smiled and nodded as her walked her back to the living area. Now, as he gets your battle suit ready, you get some relaxation and home clothes. Shigo and Jinx are pretty wild shoppers. Shigo's already grabbed a lot of things for herself and Jinx got a few new dresses, and it's only been a day or two since we pulled out heist. Jinx punched his shoulder. Hey, no looking into our rooms. Besides, some of those things were for special occasions only. Naruto rubbed his arm. And the fact you two tried to sneak in late at night during my meditation in the living room with arms full and I noticed cause you kept dropping shit has nothing to do with me knowing. But anyway, you three have fun. Blackfire, see you soon. Shigo and Jinx grabbed Blackfire and dragged her like a rag doll to Kid, whom sweat dropped before teleporting them to Metropolis. Naruto sighed. Well, Hopefully she doesn't get ripped apart by those two having her try on shit. Now then. Naruto went back to Gizmo. You gonna tell me the real news, or do I have to pry it from you the hard way? Gizmo scoffed. I gave her hope. Yeah. Listen, the real news is this, even though everything I said was actually true, there's gonna be complications. Not only do we need a good amount of titanium, we need to be able to weave the shit after we get it into threads or strands. Not very easy, mind you. Remember, it took nearly a month to get your first suit ready. That was when we had Hive backing our budgets. We're on our own here as Pandora. Naruto nodded. All right. And the other bad news you failed to speak of. Gizmo turned to him. There are 3 major companies dealing with tech. Major tech so advanced that if you need anything regarding new technologies, those 3 are the only place you're gonna get the needed stuff. Wayne Enterprises, Star Labs, and Lex Corp. Wayne Enterprises is not a good idea, they have more dealing with support and security, trying anything with them is bad news. Not to mention I checked up their softest target, Jump City, and seems what we need ain't there, it's in the main building in Gotham. Thus, Batman would be on you in seconds. Naruto shivered. And even though I did beat him, he'll be ready this time, and I would rather not use my power techniques against him. Gizmo sighed heavily. Star Labs is protected by the Metro City Science Police in their main base in Metropolis. Which is the only place to get some key components, whilst our own has a few small things we need. Then, there's Lex Corp. Naruto looked interested. Lex Corp. The financial powerhouse that's run by Lex Luthor, one of the guys trying to bring Superman to his knees. What about it? Gizmo hummed. Well, his business has everything I need to give her a right fine suit. Lex builds suits to fight Superman equally anyway. I can get the titanium, the shit to build a solar suit, not to mention the kryptonite. Naruto had to do a retake. Kryptonite. Why do you need that shit? Gizmo got back to work. Kryptonite radiation was inside the fucking suit. It's hard to miss, considering the shit is a great power source. Heck, some power plants are permitted to use the shit by Superman himself. Naruto groaned. So, where can we easily get kryptonite? Gizmo snorted. Good luck. Easy ain't in the description. First of all, it's rare as hell, pretty much as rare as Kryptonians are in the first place. Whatever came to our planet in meteorite form in the first place has since been recovered. Superman himself has his fucking robots or the police force gather it to be either stored or destroyed in his fucking Fortress of Solitude, given to power plants, or somehow by Batman. Batman has been known to have a little bit stored, in case Superman ever gone rouge, which has happened once or twice. The only other place for it is Lex Corp. Naruto hummed in thought. Batman wouldn't be giving me any, and even if I beat him up for it, he'd never tell. I'd rather not face Superman unless there ain't any other choice. And stealing from a power plant would just blow shit up. So, Lex Corp it is. Gizmo turned his head a bit. Not easy. Naruto slumped and he kept working. Sorry, Lex has a huge stockpile. How else do you think he as a normal human being can even attempt to battle Superman, even with a giant suit? That doesn't mean it's the easy route though. It's the easiest, but nothing with kryptonite is easy. Not to mention if I don't figure out a way to stop its radiation from leaking, we have a huge problem for using it as the power source. Naruto groaned. Fine. We'll figure it out. When you do, tell me, and we'll get what we need. Besides that, good luck with the suit, and hopefully Jinx and Shigo don't break Blackfire. Gizmo snorted with a few chuckles. That'll be the straw that broke the camel's back, huh? The triplet shoppers. What a crazy day that'll be. Naruto left so Gizmo could finish his work. Unbeknownst to him, the 3 he sent to go shopping were about to be the reason for a fight that day. XXX Titans Tower XXX. It was usual relaxation today. Until they needed to stop a thief or major villain, they had the day off. Raven was in her room in deep though. Beast Boy was playing his newest game. Donna was currently doing training plans for how to get them to beat Kitsune X next time, and Cyborg was in the garage with his car, trying to get it fixed up. Starfire was in the training room, way in deep thought herself. She was only touching one of the bags gently. Why is it going so horribly wrong for me? First Robin leaves, then X and Pandora pull a heist and we fail to stop them, then my sister tries to hurt me again, and when I beat her this time she is captured by X. She made her hand into a fist and yelled in frustration as she slammed a punch into the bag, blowing it off the chain and into the wall, making it rip apart and make a mess everywhere. No, I won't give up. I mustn't. For Dick, for my team. I can't stop now. I have to get stronger. She popped her knuckles and started punching and kicking the next bag, going easy on it and only using her skills, not letting her powers destroy the equipment as she trains. X wants skill. I'm going to show him skill. I'm a Tamarinine, a warrior princess. I don't have magic tricks to put on a show. I have power and skill, and will use them like the true warrior within me. Watch out, X. Next time we meet, I won't hold back a single attack. Static and KF were on patrol, KF speeding around rooftops and jumping from roof to roof. Hey, momentum from that speed is very useful when jumping. Static flew by Star Labs and checked the communications. Humming, he flew off. Hey, KF, it's been pretty slow. Is the superhero gig with a team this easy going? Not including X, of course. KF just jumped 10-storied up and ran to the top of the Wayne Inc. building. Kind of. It's not exactly villain central in a place like this. The fact is, the Titans are even stronger now, making most solo villains rethink trying anything. Not to mention X already took the biggest payload a while ago. Static sighed heavily. Well, not to rain on any parades here, but I'm trying to be a better hero. If the only good competition is X, I'd rather face him every week. KF chuckled. Trust me, I'm all for quick, but sometime it's better to slow down. Listen, X is gonna figure out we're a threat soon, and when villains think a hero or team is a threat, and they are already part of a strong team themselves, usually they go in full force. We are supposed to be ready for when that happens. Would you rather be tired and nearly out of energy there, Sparky? Little humor between them was good, they were pretty good friends starting off. Both being scientific and all about the sciences. Static chuckles. Hey, you're the one wearing thunderbolts on your ears there, Speedy. And yeah, I know that's the other guy, but seriously, call the archer Speedy and the guy breaking the sound barrier on foot the kid version of the big guy. KF chuckled as he landed and ran across the next rooftop. Yeah, well, Kid Flash rolls of the tongue more, especially considering I admire the Flash a lot. With the joking over, they started finishing patrol. Superboy was walking through the halls of the tower but stopped at a big door. He sighed. Dick, sorry I was getting a bit solitary there. You know me, both of us trying to prove something. Me trying to be all for the mission. I forgot these are your friends too. He entered and seen Cyborg under the T-car, getting the power lines all rerouted. Superboy seen a half-built motorcycle in the back, and smiled. That's a project I can work on later. First, I help him out. Superboy went up and tapped Cyborg's leg. Hey, need any help down there? Cyborg came from under the car in confusion. Superboy, I guess, you know anything about cars. Superboy shrugged. I know my engines. I'm more of a bike person myself. But, anything you need. I'm more than capable of helping either way. Cyborg chuckled a bit. Sure. Give me one of those screwdrivers, and a pipe nut. Superboy nodded and grabbed the nut. Flathead. Cyborg checked. Phillips. Superboy grabbed the Phillips and brought M over. Cyborg grabbed M and started getting the final covering for the wires done. After that, Cyborg sighed in relief. Alright, try to start the car. I need to see if this thing holds. Superboy went to the driver's seat and turned the key. It started right up with no trouble, and he whistled. That a Hemi. Cyborg chuckled with a wide grin as he came from under the car. Gotta give this baby some torque to get me around town without having to be carried like some puppet. Superboy chuckled at that. Yeah, Miss Martian would help me simulate flight by moving me through the air with her mind. Kind of felt weird, and cheesy. I'd rather get something like a vehicle to get where I am going in a hurry. Cyborg looked to the bike he had started, but never finished. He was pretty damn proud of his T-car. He didn't think he needed to get that thing finished. He smiled and looked to Superboy. Wanna help me finish the bike? You get to name it, and it'll be yours. Superboy smirked. Sounds good to me. Cyborg and him rolled it up a bit to start working, and Cyborg looked to him. So, tell me, what brought you down here to begin with? Superboy shrugged. I figured Dick wouldn't want his old friends and his new ones to be so distant to each other. He'd want us to get along and form the team right. Don't you think? I thought I'd take the initiative and find something to do together with one of you. Seeing as I am a decent mechanic, I'd help you. Cyborg smiled at that. Yeah, Robin was always about keeping the team together. Hey, thanks. Guess we weren't very warm company for a while either. Starfire's a little unstable though right now. Superboy chuckled softly. Well, I figure she's got a crush on the guy. But seriously, losing him, failing him by letting X beat us. She's feeling the weight of this all by herself, and no matter what we say, I am pretty sure she will keep blaming herself. We have to try harder, and she will too. When she softens up a bit, I can guarantee it'll be a great thing. Cyborg nodded and grabbed the power cell. I guess. So, want this like a classic chopper look, or a speeder? Superboy grinned wildly. Speeder, please. With that, they began getting it fixed up. XXX underground base XXX. Ravager sighed and stretched, feeling better and able to move. Well, no time like the present, right father? I'll show you I am the rightful apprentice to your teachings, and be just as amazing as you. She walked to the glass room and smirked. So, everyone rested. Kakashi, Neji, and Rock Lee looked at her passively, whilst Sakura and Sasuke were looking determined and snarling. Ino and Tamari were just meek about this whole thing. She hummed. Well, it's time. Remember the deal. You fight and catch the Titans, and I will catch Naruto for you. But, to make sure Naruto comes to see me alone, I think I need your help. What do you say? Kakashi looked to Neji and he sighed. Well, guys, shall we? Sooner we get Naruto, sooner we leave. Sasuke smirked evilly. Finally, no more slacking around. Just make sure you don't rough up Naruto too much, I want the pleasure of ripping his body to pieces before we get back home. Ino and Temari looked to each other and shivered. We got a bad feeling about this. But what choice do we have? We're in. Ravager nodded. Meet me a few rooms over in an hour, stretch your legs and get ready cause you will need to be when you fight the Titans. She left and smirked. And soon, father, the Titans will pay for your murder. She grabbed her sword. It was something given to her when her father left. She pulled it out to look at. After all, you taught me the sacred rule. An eye, for an eye. She sheathed it hard and strapped it to her back. Winston. The butler came out. Yes, madam. She walked to the other room. Get the transmitter equipment ready, and one of the quality cameras. We're gonna put on a small show. And that's that. You're one crazy guy, Naruto. Though I kinda like that. Gizmo pulled up some building specs, 3 different ones which were from one building, but looked to be from 2 different ones. Naruto smirked. Hey, you're helping out, so you're just as nuts. Gotta love thinking outside of the box. So, tell me about this. How the fuck are there 3 completely different blueprints? Gizmo exhaled heavily. That's the thing. This first one is public knowledge, publicly broadcast as the usual security, rooms, and items. The second one is the legit security. I had to take this one straight from the security records of the Metropolis PD's database. The third one is everything. Research, rooms, actual security levels and defensive modifications, not to mention a few hints, tricks and tips on what the hell he has. He's a villain, you know, he isn't without a lot of secret stuff. Naruto groaned. That's one hell of a security Lex has got. You sure this is the best way? Gizmo scoffed. Taking it from some of the power plants will bring chaos and nuclear winters, taking it from the government brings the damn JLA on our asses, pulling a heist on Lex is the only way to be totally safe here. Unless you wanna go get some from Batman or Superman. Naruto chuckled nervously. Batman will be ready for me, and Superman has all sorts of strength to give me crap with. Not to mention all his damn teammates. Supergirl, Power Girl, hell, he even has a superdog for crying out loud. I'd rather not risk it. If I went all out, I would be in jail. After beating down at least one of them. Lex it is. Damn, he has some high-level shit. Gizmo nodded. Not to mention I've had to get this data after relaying through 50 different signals on a cloned computer with bogus internet from a cafe. Took me an hour, but still, it's worth it. They can't trace it to me, it's virtually impossible. Naruto pat Gizmo's back. I'll have to look over it before making a plan. I'll need to be supremely careful or else they trace me here. Good job though. Gizmo looked puzzled. You mean US, right? Naruto looked at him with a smile. Nope, just me. I'm the only one here with a secret alias. All of you are known to the heroes, therefore, the villains, so whatever needs to happen, it needs to happen with only me. I won't risk your safety for the sake of something we need if there's a better way with less risk. Gizmo smiled and nodded. I guess you're right. Those girls will be at least a few hours. Jinx is crazed on dresses and fashion. Naruto went and let Gizmo continue his work. He had many things to do, planning just being one of them. The other, being rest. Ever since he became Kitsune X, it's been a hassle in some way, shape, or form. Truly, he just wanted to relax more. He laid down and started to close his eyes. When he heard his scream come from the wall and he looked at it. Gizmo. Mammoth. Who is it and what do you want? Sorry, but they don't have a single thing to do with this call. Naruto looked and seen who was calling him. It was a woman, with a very weird costume he never seen before. Half the mask covering the head was orange, and the eyes showing, the other was black, with no eye showing. She also had a single katana on her back and her long white hair ties up neatly behind her, her suit black with what looked like some kind of scaled armor under it exposed at places that didn't have the smooth Kevlar armor. Who the heck are you? The woman smirked. You may call me Ravager. It has come to my attention, during my investigation of my targets the Titans, that you have not lost a single fight against them. Now, I want you to help me take them down. You do this for me, and I won't murder your friends. Naruto glared. You can't even get inside, I guarantee it. Ravager chuckled at that. Who said anything about trying to kill one of your teammates inside your base? They don't even know I am making this call to you. For the last week, I've been covertly sneaking my way into the system, and hacked the communications so I may have a small chat with you. Don't try to call them into view this communication either, because if you do, I will still murder your friends. If you don't believe me. Ravager turned away and the camera turned around a bit, and Naruto's eyes went wide. On the screen was Blackfire, Shigo, and Jinx, all tied up. He activated his Sharingan eye, and it was a not telling him it was an illusion at all. He cursed. Where's Kid? Ravager came back on the screen. Dead. We knew if he woke up he would teleport and warn you and your team, so we made sure that it did not happen. If you think I am bluffing. She turned and the camera shone the other way, with a bloody Kid on the wall. Naruto growled with rage. Ravager came back on once more. If you want the 3 girls still alive to stay that way, you do exactly as I say. Come to the North Shipping District of East Harbor, warehouse number 17H. Come alone, and I will know if you don't, or they will die. Understood. Naruto's knuckles were white from them being gripped so hard. He snarled under his breath quietly. Understood. Ravager nodded. When you arrive, I will be waiting to tell you what you need to do, and if you complete this task of mine, you get to go back to base with them still alive. Over and out. And with that, the screen went white snow as it turned off the communications and went back to sleep mode. Naruto roared and rammed a fist into the wall, denting the 1-foot-thick steel wall. Damn it. There's no way she will get away with this. I'll tear her limb from limb. XXX Ravager's base. XXX. She turned to the Konoha ninja. There. See. Taking pictures and then putting them on a screen to simulate live streaming of them kept him from finding out. Your illusions were spot on too. Transformation. Such a wonderful gift. Since I can't really find them, you made great substitutes. Now, go and complete your end of the agreement, whilst I complete mine. Kakashi huffed. You may see the future, but you still cannot beat Naruto with your attitude. Still, seeing as you are only normal with skills, he won't go all out against you. He's not the type to play unfairly. Just catch him alive, and you'll have your titans. With that, Kakashi turned and left, everyone following. Sasuke scoffing in disgust. Those lowly titans aren't going to be a match for us at all. If Naruto can beat them so easily, so can I. Neji glared at him. We all do it, or we are putting you down. Do not forget, Sasuke, we can force you to stay behind and out of the fight at any time we deem fit. We are still your superiors, and Kakashi is much stronger than you still, no matter what he taught you. Sakura was about to yell, but Ino slapped a hand over her mouth. Let's just get this done, and go home. I'd rather not spend another day in this scum pit of a city. With that, they were quiet as they raced towards Titan's tower. Little would either Ravager or the Konoha ninja know, that their plans were not going to go very well as planned. XXX Titan Tower XXX. Static was flying through the tower on his disc, sitting on it. Man, I finally get here to be part of the team, and Dick gets clipped by the Batman. All I've been recently was a power source. I don't mind helping out and being a hero full-time now, but it's not the same. Gear, she-bang, at least with them I'd have someone I knew on a team. Static wasn't having a very good month. He understood he had the power for more, he seen his future self, but he didn't understand how to get there. He couldn't figure it out. His older self said his greatest strength was believing in himself. Without a friend on this team, what else was there to do but be a liability here? Sometimes he felt useless. Sure, he could go up against his own rogues, or even Mad Mod a time or two, but Kitsune X doesn't even feel his electrical attacks. Usually, too, he's the first one Kitsune X attacks. Kid Flash stopped right by him. Yo, Static, you alright man? You seem kinda down. Static looked at KF. Yeah, listen, I came to be on this team and all, and I don't regret it. What I do regret is being a liability. Dick was the only one I knew from personal experience, and he's gone. I understand it's a void for everyone here now, but you, Wonder Girl, Superboy, you 3 are well known, and are a team together. I'm odd man out this time. KF smiled a bit. You think you're the only one who has felt that. Believe me, we all have. You think it was easy getting to be friends with Speedy, Robin, or either of the Aqualads. Just because our mentors were teammates and knew each other, it didn't make it one bit easier for us than it is for you right now. What you have to ask yourself is not whether you know someone on this team or not. You have to ask yourself, do you want to be on this team? Because if you do, you're going to need to stop thinking no one will like you. You have to connect, just like everything else. Static looked to KF. You have a point, but it's not like I am mystical, an alien, or a warrior. I'm just a simple straight a student from a little town, and my powers came from a bottle. KF scoffed softly. And mine came from a lab as well. Listen, this is just like high school. You're in a new place, new people around you. You don't know anyone here, you're a little worried you won't make friends. What do? Just be the loner and keep to yourself? Or do you find someone to befriend and start being part of a social group? Static smiled a bit. Yeah, I guess you're right. Still, it's not easy finding someone to befriend when most of the team are still sulking over it. Sure, we do our duty as heroes, but that's where that ends. KF put a hand on Static's shoulder. Listen, I may wear a lightning bolt, but I don't hold a candle to you when it comes to the speed of lightning. No matter who else decides not to be your friend. You know this, you have one friend here right now. Me. You did before Dick left us, and you do now still. Friends. Static seen KF put a hand out to him. Static smiled and grabbed it. Friends. The lightning bolt suits you though, better believe that. Static and KF laughed a bit at that, but all too soon the fun and games stopped. Isn't that sweet? Static and KF both looked down the hallway to see a man walking to them. The man in question was holding a straight-edged katana and had a swayed-back hairstyle with black hair, and his black eyes suddenly turned red with black tomo. Sorry to intrude, but in order to kill the one I hate most, I have to kill you two first. Be proud, insects like you will die by an Uchiha's might. Sasuke was ready for battle. At the same time, Raven opened her eyes on the roof to see a blonde woman with a purple shinobi getup. Ino sighed. I guess I have no choice. Don't hate me, hate the one making me do this. I just want to get through with everything as quick as possible. Raven looked confused when Ino put her hands up and looked at Raven. She took a deep breath. Mind transfer jutsu. Her body went limp, and her soul and mind self-transferred to Raven's own mind. Beast Boy and Cyborg were playing a game in the main room, Cyborg clearly losing. Just when it looked like the finish, a powerful wind came from nowhere and cut the room to pieces. They looked around until they seen a woman in a black kimono and big as hell fan in her arms, and a man with long black hair and white gear on. Neji and Tamari looked at each other and Neji huffed. Guess it's too much to ask for us to make a scene. We can't let ourselves be noticed by Naruto. He finds out, we are ended. Try not to use any of those big ones, okay? Tamari nodded. I know. Just make sure we get this done fast. I'd like not to be in the crossfire of the others. Sasuke and Sakura are loose cannons already. Cyborg looked to Beast Boy. First off, I was gonna whoop your butt in the game anyway, but seeing as the game is not concluded to a winner. How about a new one? Whoever beats one of these guys first cleans the room up. Cyborg and Beast Boy jumped over the couch and started walking to the two at the exit. Beast Boy scoffed. Have fun, dude. I'll take the girl on. Superboy was currently getting some of the training equipment for Cyborg and Starfire up to the heavy training room. When he got there, he seen a man in green spandex and really bushy eyebrows using one of them. Rock Lee was lifting a heavy 100-pound block loader up, currently at 500 pounds, and he was groaning a bit but still not even breaking a sweat. He seen Superboy and put it down, rolling out from under it. He smirked and got into fight stance. I seen this was your destination, and was going to wait, but I was unable to resist these training contraptions. They are quite wonderful, but I must keep my mind on the mission. Prepare yourself to fight me. Starfire was in her room, wrapping Dick's cape around herself. She truly missed her friend, someone she cared for with so much feeling she could even say it was more than a friendship to her. Wherever you are, I hope you are safe, and that soon, someday really soon, you return to us. Return to me. She clutched it tighter before hearing a chuckle. Oh my, such a sad little thing. If you're my opponent, I doubt you'd put up any resistance. You're just a weak, feeble part of this group, no matter what kind of info we got on you. Starfire jumped up off her bed and jumped away as her bed and part of the floor was crushed. She charged her bolts in her hands as she looked at the attacker. The attacker had pink short hair and a red outfit. Sakura grinned. You dodged my first strike, but you won't dodge the next. You're going down, weakling. Sakura got into fighting stance. Donna was currently in her room, resting. She was having a terribly hard time keeping things together. Every time Starfire would start coming out of her shell, something goes wrong to piss her off again. It was endless apparently, although she did notice something now. She tilted her head and put a hand up and caught a knife that came from behind her. She looked at it and got up. If you truly wish to fight an Amazonian warrior, then test your mettle truly. Do not try to sneak around and assassinate a warrior of my caliber. Kakashi came from the vent and sighed. My luck keeps running out. But I guess I can't blame it, I always seem to pick a fight that deals more with open area fighting nowadays. Amazonian, huh, this may be tough. Donna seen him pulling his headband from covering his eye, before he opened it, and only it, showing a red eye. I'm not going to take it easy on you. Donna grabbed her bracelets and put them on. Me neither. The two got into fighting poses, and the battle within the tower began. Donna flew forward and threw a hard jab, which Kakashi dodged easily, and rammed a swift one into her ribs. Donna felt the power and it was strong, but not strong enough as she twisted fast and slammed a horrifying swing kick at Kakashi, who tried to dodge it, but could not completely as it effectively ripped his jacket off when her boot clung into it. Kakashi hummed and backed off, landing on the table in the middle of the room. I think you twisted my shoulder a bit from that. He rubbed it gently. Truthfully, he did feel it was kind of out of place now, a little out of socket, and HT like a bitch, but like hell he would allow her to think he was weaker. He still had a few tricks up his sleeve. Donna sat down and looked at the jacket. Military. That's a high-quality vest and that metal plating hurt like hell when I kicked it. This guy must have been high on the ladder in that other world like Dick's notes told me. I better be careful. Kakashi threw a few seals in rapid succession and instantly his hand was sparking with lightning. This will be the end of you. My job is to kill you, so prepare for death. Donna looked shocked. She knew this attack. She had seen a bigger version from the ice villains taking over months ago, used by Kitsune X. She knew its devastating properties. She had to dodge it. Kakashi ran at her with blinding speed as she stood in shock. Donna snapped out of it and waited. She wasn't about to let him have room to swerve around before the strike. She knew you didn't dodge an incoming strike from an opponent when they begin. You dodge when its pattern was already predetermined, so it couldn't change course without stopping and giving time for an escape. Kakashi thrust with all his might, trying to end this quick. Donna's back foot was set just right to when she turned she pushed against the ground and her body spun around the strike, just like Wonder Woman, Diana, trained her. She didn't hesitate and kicked off the ground with her front foot to jump forward and swung with her back arm, slamming a fist directly into Kakashi's face. He was sent flying back and into the wall as she didn't allow her strength to fail even an ounce to end it quickly herself. Kakashi hit the wall hard. Hard enough for the cage bunchen of him to dispel. He had switched himself with one in a matter of seconds, and was glad he prepared one in case. Its primary use was to catch her off guard after she dodged, but he didn't expect this opponent to dodge and counterattack so effectively. He had heard Amazonians were women warriors, very skilled in hand-to-hand combat. He expected himself to be better. He underestimated them it seemed. Donna scoffed. Come out. Face me in true combat you coward. Oh, that was another thing. Amazonians were more the direct type rather than sneaky, so he had to play to his strengths. He took out a kunai as he was hidden outside the door. He knew there were limited places to hide when she was looking. Kakashi took out 3 shuriken and instantly opened the door, throwing the 3 shuriken at her. She had heard the door open and flew back, using her brackets to block all 3, but suddenly a kunai followed where she couldn't protect, and she was only fast enough to turn her body as it went into her, cutting into her shoulder. She groaned and pulled it out. Donna was used to pain, of bleeding out, of being wounded like this. Diana had paid no expense to train her, only giving her the best so she could handle everything that came her way. Kakashi was fact on her again, already have prepared another Reikiri. Take this. Donna knew she needed to go on the offensive. Now. Kakashi struck out hard, and Donna flew up, and it worked as she had planned. She was struck hard in her side, blood spilling out from her body. Kakashi smirked. This time I had the upper hand. Donna coughed blood as she smirked as well. I'm taking you down with me. Donna grabbed his arm, and struck it, breaking his elbow and pulling him forward, slamming a knee into his chin and breaking it as he flew back, but caught his leg. Kakashi was stunned, but he still was able to fly through a one-handed set of seals and blow a fireball at her as she pulled him in. Donna threw a harsh jab at his stomach as he rose up to blow that fireball, and she struck home, causing a devastating blow to his stomach and liver before she was burned by the fireball. The end result of this fight was simple. Kakashi knocked the hell out, and Donna was burned, cut into and bleeding heavily. Donna grunted as she lay on the ground with half her face having second-degree burns. She had only one thought. I won't die from this. I've had much worse done to me, but I will require help soon or I am in trouble. No one was going to help her for a little bit, as Raven and Ino were on the roof, and both were inside one mind. Raven's mind. Ino was inside and she was racing around. She was huffing and running wildly as these 4 red-eye crows followed her. This was an amazingly effective mental defense. Every time she picked a target to get into Raven's data banks, these things would try to rip her apart. She already had her left arm pecked at till it was unusable. She was about to just exit the jutsu when suddenly dark energy encompassed her. In front of her stood Raven. Why are you here? How did you enter the confounds of my mind without the use of a mystical object from my home world? Ino was terrified. My family has a special technique, able to enter the minds of anyone if we aim it just right. You stood still. It wasn't hard to get in. I'm wishing I hadn't. But what am I supposed to do? I either die here, die by that damn woman's anger for me failing, or Naruto kills me because he is fed up with me. Raven looked shocked. Ino just fell to her knees. I want to go home. I want to quit. I just want to pick flowers and live my lonely life of regret without anything else trying to kill me. I was a bitch, cheating on the one I loved, and now this. All this because of that. Your mind is messed up, and I can't get into it to get you to come with me so I even have a chance of living with no regrets. Raven put the energy down and Ino looked at her. Raven stepped up. I can teleport you back to your world. All I would require is time to prepare. You tell me everything I need to know about why you attacked me, and everything else, and I will gladly help you. Ino looked at Raven in shock. She just nodded and cried more. Thank you. I'll gladly do that. Knock me out and put me somewhere. Make it look like I lost. Then go help your team. They are in trouble. You know who my team is from the ice villains we teamed up with, and let me tell you, Sasuke and Sakura, the one with the sword and the girl with the pink hair. They are mentally unstable, they are out for blood and will not stop until everything is destroyed. Be careful. Raven nodded and Ino exited her mind. Instantly she powered Ino to her and slammed a kick into her head, knocking her out. Now to find a place for you. She teleported them to her room, and Raven instantly went to a random location to see who was still fighting. Heavenly Spin. Neji created his barrier as Cyborg had caught him off guard, firing off his sonic cannon at him. The cannon stopped firing and Neji stopped spinning, rushing forward. He knew Cyborg was half machine, his normal attacks wouldn't phase him, and Beast Boy could change, so his attacks would still be ineffective. He had to go with the traditional pounding. Beast Boy changed into a chimp and was bouncing off the ceiling and floor as he dodged the air waves being sent his way from Tamari. She cursed as he kept leaping out of the way. Anything bigger I broadcast this fight. I would rather not have Naruto fight me, he still has those clones of his. Beast Boy changed back to normal. Hey lady, you got some great range, but don't let that think you're better than me. Try to hit what you can't catch. He changed into a cheetah and raced at her. Tamari looked shocked at the speed and tried to swing again for her air wave, but he was on her too fast, pouncing and tackling her hard before changing into a gorilla and slamming both fists into her face and stomach, knocking her out. Beast Boy changed back and turned to see Cyborg get blasted into the sky. Cyborg had blasted the floor with his sonic cannon to make Neji fly up, and then punched him, grabbing his leg and tried to backhand him, only for Neji to duck his head under the strike and turn, firing an air palm. Cyborg looked down and seen Neji jump at him. Cyborg threw a harsh jab, but Neji caught it and slammed a horrifying palm strike into his stomach and rapidly struck the chest, both sides and finally the head before twisting and throwing Cyborg into the ground. Cyborg was knocked out, and Beast Boy growled. That's it. He changed into a cheetah again and ran after him. Neji seen this and just went for it. He twisted and created his heavenly spin again, bouncing Beast Boy off. Beast Boy grunted as he changed back. What the hell kind of power is that? Neji knew if he tried for it, Beast Boy would just change, so they were at a stalemate. Raven suddenly appeared though, and he cursed. The Mystic. This isn't good. Raven wrapped her energy around him before slamming him up into the ceiling and then back to the ground 3 times, knocking him out before finally stopping and letting him go. Sorry, I had my own problem. You okay? Beast Boy nodded. Thanks. Sigh. He raced to him and seen there were some major damages to his cybernetic parts from the opponent's strikes. We'll have to worry about the damage later, he seems fine for now. I smelled more of these guys in the tower when I was a cheetah. I also smelled blood. We have to help the others. Raven got into meditative mode. I'll search around for the source of blood, you go help the others. He nodded and turned into a dog, rushing through the tower. Raven calmed herself. Azarath, Metrion, Zenthos. She opened her eyes and a black raven soul self was released, flying through the tower with amazing speed. She quickly found the source of blood, and instantly teleported there, seeing Donna on the ground. No, she grabbed her and teleported her to the medical room. She proceeded to heal her as best she could. Superboy was currently engaged in heavy combat. The training room was a wreck from this battle. Rock Lee sent another heavy kick to his chest and implanted him into the wall again, making the 10th crater angel of his body in the wall so far. Superboy inhaled a lot and Rock Lee rushed him again, only for Superboy to blow out a cold wave, and freezing Rock Lee. Superboy had done this before, but Rock Lee always broke it, so he didn't waste time. He grabbed Rock Lee's thrusting arm and twisted it behind his back as he broke out, and forced him to the ground. Rock Lee grunted. You are most formidable. You hardly seem fazed by my attacks, and still able to fight me off. Amazing. Rock Lee managed to get on his feet again, Superboy afraid of putting any more force into his hold or else he would break Rock Lee's arms. Rock Lee suddenly launched back, slamming them into the wall before kicking off the ground and slamming Superboy into the ceiling, forcing them to twist into the air and slamming Superboy into the ground to finish the move off. Superboy let go when he hit the ground, the speed and force enough to almost break the floor. He seen Lee flip up and get ready again. Damn, he's way too fast. Kid Flash would have had a field day racing this guy. He's strong too, but not strong enough to be effective. He only left one bruise so far, and I know damn well he's been trying to do more. If I could only catch him without having to resort to using more of my strength, I'd rather not kill him. He is still fragile like a normal civilian compared to me. He was right too, but thing was, he had something special to bring Lee down with, he just didn't know it. Yet, Lee suddenly changed stance, unwrapping his bands from his arms. You are much stronger than I had thought possible, but I am not so weak that I cannot stop you somehow. Get ready for my special attack. Primary Lotus. Superboy looked amazed as Lee ran around him with such speed he thought he was watching the Flash dressed in green. Lee smirked as he looked at Superboy being dumbstruck. If this is not enough, I will gladly show you an even stronger move. Now, Lee slammed a foot up into Superboy's chin, sending him flying back and in the air. Lee was behind him as he wrapped the bandages around Superboy, tightened double wrapped just in case as he grabbed onto him with fierce grip. You cannot escape this. He was wrong. Superboy was struggling as the floor got closer. He watched as the room spun upside down, but he just roared and tried to force himself free of these bandages, and fortunately that's when another of his powers activated. The bandages were ripped apart and outward as they were stretched from an invisible force, and Lee's hands were forced off as well, no matter how hard he tried to make his arms enclose around Superboy. Superboy had gotten free and flipped hard, and ramming a heavy foot into Lee's chest. Lee slammed into the ground and bounced and hit the wall hard, leaving a dent in his impression of a concrete angel. Lee fell to the ground on his knees, and looked up with one eye barely open. You got free. No one's ever gotten free. He fell flat on his face. Superboy looked at himself, and felt it. He felt something around him and smiled. I finally managed to make it do something. My telekinetic field, I made it push out and force that guy off. I've gotta work on that sometime. For now. He went and grabbed Lee. You're going to answer some questions. With that, he took Lee to the medical room, where he met with Raven. Superboy frowned seeing a few more as well as Wonder Girl and Cyborg. I guess it was too much to wish for only one fight and a total victory. How's Wonder Girl? She seems pretty bad. Raven sighed. She'll be fine. It's not her injury that concerns me, it's the effects of it. It's like her entire nervous system is in disarray. Like something is messing with it. I guess you could say it's like she was a machine hit by an EMP. Superboy hummed. And electrical attack. But I didn't notice anything like that from the guy in green. Raven nodded. And the blonde ponytail in purple uses mental techniques. Superboy rubbed the bridge of his nose. Meta-human. Raven looked to him. In my kind of category. They came from a different dimension altogether. Superboy know of parallel Earths and also he figured that's what she meant. An Earth of Meta Ninja. That's crazy. Raven nodded. Suddenly the room got dark as they looked outside and seen a storm coming, lightning striking and arching back into the clouds in an irregular manner. That's not a normal storm. There's at least 2 more enemies in the tower. I will search for TH. Before she could finish her sentence, the ceiling crashed down upon them and Superboy reacted quickly by grabbing her and using himself as her shield as the debris fell on them. Once the dust settled, they looked to the hole in the ceiling and in the floor and looked down. Starfire is fighting one. Starfire was currently taking a fair beating, actually. She didn't know what she could do. This pink-haired girl was healing herself with every injury at a rapid pace. If she hit any harder to fully take down this girl, she would risk a fatal injury, and she would not kill, as Dick felt strongly about, so she had to find another way before this girl finally beat her up enough to win. Sakura was punching with all her might. Her chakra was running really low from healing in the first punches she threw that missed, so she had to conserve to take Starfire on. If this went on any longer, Starfire would be victorious out of Sakura being unable to heal herself anymore, and that took a lot of chakra from such crazy injuries like broken bones. They hit a floor that didn't give way 5 floors down before they finally stopped falling through the damn tower, having went through at least 9 by now. Starfire was pretty beat up. She knew she wouldn't last any longer against the brutal attacks, but she had to try anything. Sakura kept a firm grip on her as she kept trying to slam her fists into Starfire's face. Starfire was getting tired of this, not wanting to black out anytime soon, and just roared, firing off an eye bolt and throwing Sakura into the air. Starfire got up shakily, rubbing her head and shaking it to try and gain her bearings once more. Sakura groaned, her injuries just about taking their toll. She stood and held onto the wall as she seen Starfire get up. What does it take to bring you down, you bitch? Seriously, weaker than normal punches or not, I should have knocked her out about now. Last I heard she isn't fucking Kryptonian like Superboy, so she shouldn't be this much of a fucking challenge. She was wrong. Starfire charged her bolts and huffed in frustration. You will not beat me. Your friend the Kitsune X beat me, then he kidnaps my sister, and now this. I won't lose to you. My will is as strong as Robin's. She roared as she blasted a decent strength beam bolt from her hands into Sakura and dealt a great blow. Sakura groaned and fell, finally run out of chakra and unable to move from her injuries. Starfire walked up and grabbed her by the collar and lifted her up. Now, you will tell me everything you know about Kitsunex's skills and what his weaknesses are, or I will deal this kind of punishment to your other comrades. Sakura groaned and chuckled weakly and deliriously. Naruto has no weakness. Whatever you deal to me won't be enough. His torture of me a while back was enough. Naruto's not going to go down to anyone, no matter what. I decided before I die to just fight and win for once one last time. Guess I can't have that, so just end it. Starfire huffed and pulled her back up to medical where Raven and Superboy were trying to clean up. She tossed Sakura onto a table and punched her out. I suppose these are her comrades. Wonder Girl lost. Against whom? Raven looked to Kakashi. She didn't lose, it was a draw. This was her opponent. Cyborg fell to the guy in white. She pointed to Neji. And so far it's been wins all around. Beast Boy is checking a final few runs around the tower to find Static and Kid Flash and seeing if we truly won or not. Before Starfire could say anything, they saw a huge light coming from the window and they looked out, seeing a huge white lightning monster coming at the tower. Raven was stunned. No way. That's not possible. Superboy was looking horrified. Kitsune X. Is it? Raven shook her head. No. I know his energy signature. It's not this weak, but that's not exactly weak compared to the rest of these guys. Starfire was just standing there wide-eyed. This can't be happening. XXX several minutes ago XXX. Static and Kid Flash dodged as Sasuke slashed at them with his sword. Kid Flash ran further down the hall as Static put up an electric field between them and Sasuke. Sasuke scoffed. You think you are the only one with some power. Let me show you mine. Chidori current. Sasuke charged a Chidori in his hand and slammed it against the floor and it ran across the floor to the electrical field and made it burst and disappear before he ran through. Kid Flash zoomed and went for a clothesline but Sasuke saw this and went to cut KF's legs off. KF jumped above the sword and rolled on the ground behind Sasuke, who seen Static charged an electrical attack and blasting an electrical blast at him. He put his sword out pointing at it and used the sword to absorb the attack, and he smirked. If that is all you have, you won't last long. Static charged up. This won't be easy, but we can't let him get to us. KF, get some distance, I'll charge up the floor. He was hoping to give KF a bit of an advantage, supercharging the floor with electricity to lessen friction to the speedster. He hoped KF would be fast enough. KF ran away from Sasuke and Sasuke chuckled darkly. Your friend is smart. You can't defeat me, so just give up. Static charged a ball of electricity in his hands. Not gonna happen, you're about to get a heavy wake-up call. He shoved the ball down to the floor making it glow with an electrical flow. Sasuke jumped up off the floor and put both feet on the wall, now he was walking sideways on it. Static was surprised. Okay, that's new. KF rushed by with exceptional speed and the floor made him fly faster forward as he reared a fist back. Sasuke seen this and put his sword up and slashed. KF dodged at the last second and tried for a reverse elbow strike to the back of Sasuke's head, only for a hand to be there and blocking it. KF was shocked and he skidded along the floor as the electrical flow vanished. Static was at a loss. Speeding KF up didn't help. Could he see KF like he was in slow motion or something? Then he remembered something. That's it. X has that Sharingan thing, the red eye, right? This guy does too. He's able to predict any movements if he focuses on them, even from KF going so fast. Static charged up again. KF, keep striking for him. Sooner or later he's bound to stop blocking. We gotta end this. Now. KF nodded and rushed forward again, and entered what he called super movement, which basically turned everything around him slow as a turtle and him going faster than normal. The speedsters could easily pull this off, but frowned upon it for a few reasons unless it's needed to take down someone super tough. KF was on Sasuke fast but he looked wide-eyed as Sasuke turned fast and slashed with his sword. KF tried to dodge by jumping but failed as Sasuke managed to slice into his leg before he fully dodged it, cutting near to the bone but not taking anything off as KF rolled on the ground and held his legs as things turned to normal. God, he's fast. Static, we have to get going. Static was shocked seeing this. He turned to Sasuke who swung his sword to clean his sword of the blood and he shook. He not only could see Kid Flash, but he could match him too. This guy ain't human. I have to take him down though, I can't allow this to go on. Static whispered to KF as Sasuke just glared. Can you run on your hands to a safe place? KF looked confused. Yeah, why? Don't tell me you're going to try and take this guy. He's wicked fast and can neutralize your powers. We can't stand up to him. Static smiled a little. I know, but I'd rather you be safe. I may not be the biggest hero. Heck, I'm pretty much just a battery. But I am one battery that can at least handle this till backup arrives. Go, see who's able to help here. I'll at least keep him busy. KF just looked at Static, then to Sasuke. He sighed and groaned as he got ready to move. You better stay alive. He ignored his legs as he ran to medical as fast as possible. Sasuke grinned. Done preparing. I seen your skills, you can't beat me. Not even with that trash Kid Flash. I'll raise the heat now. Fireball jutsu. He breathed in as he did the seals one-handed before breathing out and launching the huge fireball from his lungs straight to Static. Static looked in horror and moved back as he charged up and fired at the ground, setting an electric perimeter as the fireball got close. Before it hit he slapped his hands together and laced his fingers making the electric perimeter close in and cut the fireballs in half, and then used the same electrical perimeter he set to generate spikes out of the sides and blasted outward, forcing the fireball to vanquish into tiny embers that were dying out. Sasuke looked a little surprised. You're not too shabby, taking out my fire jutsu with measly electricity. Static smiled a bit. I've had to fight fire like that since my beginner days. He'll burn the place down if he stays inside, and I'm cramped here. I have to lure him outside. Maybe just running. He did come and find me and KF in the tower in the first place. But I need him focused on me, not trying to finish KF. Sasuke was walking forward with his sword and Static had an idea. Think you're so tough. Bet you can't catch me, you dog breath little wimp. Uchiha huh. Sounds like a name of the family of morons. Static didn't let that simmer before running, he just bolted as fast as he could out to the roof. Sasuke growled as his eyes spun in rage. I was taking it easy on you but now you pissed me off. Sasuke ran fast, easily keeping up with Static. Static had to go through quick turns, down and up elevator shafts and stairs to somehow make Sasuke slower, but eventually he flew through the door to the roof, the impact against the door throwing him off and his flying disc skidding to the edge of the roof as he was on his knees. He groaned as he got up. Sasuke burst the door open and off as he stepped up, lightning sparking off his body and clouds coming in above them. You're not going to escape your fate now. She didn't say we need to capture you all alive. That got Static's attention. Who said that? Who are you working for? Why are you attacking us? Sasuke brought his hand up in front of his fact, a Chidori forming. That's none of your concern now, you're not going to live long enough to contemplate that information. Now die. Static jumped back to get out of the way of Sasuke thrusting that attack into him, but instead of completely dodging it he was stuck with a horrible wound, the Chidori sinking into his shoulder. Ah. Sasuke grinned but soon looked surprised as, after his Chidori subsided, Static blasted a heavy electrical field around him and zapped Sasuke back off him. Static grabbed his shoulder and groaned, shaking a bit as he bled. His hand glowed with his electrical powers, a little trick he learned after a few encounters with Shiv, a little medical trick. Static pulsed his electrical field into his shoulder, generating a special vibration that was rejuvenating his cells and making them multiply brand new, healing himself fully. He looked to Sasuke who grinned. I got you. You're not going to be doing much with that wound. Static decided it was best not to tell this guy he could heal his own wounds and just kept a hand on his shoulder. You still don't have the skill to take me down. Static had a very wild theory. He was able to absorb lightning, but it was so powerful it was a hell of a recharge. After rejuvenating himself and his current usage of energy, he was running low anyway, but he was going to try and recharge, using Sasuke's lightning powers to do it. Sasuke growled and charged another Chidori up. Yeah, well you don't stand a chance with this one. I won't miss any vitals this time. With that he charged again. Static just stood there, waiting. Sasuke rushed forward more as the storm clouds were gathering darker above them. Sasuke thrust his hand forward to strike Static's heart, but that's when Static moved, charging the last of his electricity in his hand and clasping it with Sasuke's hand, and Sasuke looked shocked to see his Chidori wasn't ripping Static's hand to shreds, and even more shocked to see his Chidori was dissipating rapidly. Static grinned, feeling half his energy returning, and charged a heavy taser with his other fist and rammed it into Sasuke's stomach, forcing him back before he shocked Sasuke with a heavy blast. Sasuke groaned and was on a knee, looking shocked. Static smirked. Sorry, you just don't have the raw power to stop me. I don't know how drained you are, but I am already halfway charged thanks to that, and I was empty. Sasuke was slowly losing his shock as he tried to think of a way to beat Static, then he smirked. That's so. That's nothing compared to my greatest power. You won't be able to absorb this attack fully. Sasuke threw his hand up to the sky and a bolt of lightning hit his hand. A ball of lightning was in his hand. Static looked shocked at that. Don't tell me he can recharge his power from the fucking lightning storm that's rolling in. He found out though, that this storm was not natural, and he was a few seconds from finding out that this storm was generated from Sasuke himself. Sasuke grinned as a huge lightning beast roared and generated itself from the clouds, floating above the tower. Static was in total shock. No way. That's insane. Sasuke chuckled darkly. This attack is unavoidable. Even if you manage to absorb some of this attack, this has at least 10 times the chakra and power that you absorbed from my Chidori. You won't be able to absorb it all, and blocking it is impossible to someone like you. Sasuke grinned darkly. Say goodbye to you and your pathetic friends. This tower will burn. He threw his hand down and the lightning beast started to roar and rush attack at the tower. Kirin. Static was shocked like hell. This is insane. I can absorb it all, but if I don't do something now it'll destroy the tower and part of the city. He gripped his fists and clenched his teeth in fear. I have to do something, but what? Come on Static, think. Then, it hit him. Static let his arms down and his body relaxed. He made his disc come back to him and got on, floating up. I can't absorb it all, but I can at least focus it somewhere without it destroying something. If this don't work I'll be the only one gone, least that's comforting. Static took a deep breath as the beast of lightning was nearing him at rapid speed. Come on, strike me with your best shot. He got ready, clenching himself and inhaled, and it hit, the beast ramming into him. Ah! Static was being shocked by the lightning, his body shaking as it was unable to absorb all of it at once, so he used what he absorbed a bit to generate a heavier electrical field to hold most of the energy at bay. He roared as he kept absorbing and delaying the bulk of the lightning from the beast. Sasuke was looking with shock, speechless as he was watching static in the middle of a large lightning show in the sky generated from his attack hitting static. This can't be possible. Static absorbed most of the energy and his eyes were sparking with energy, his body pulsing with electrical power even more than he was used to in his whole life. URK. This is even crazier than when a sunspot cycle appears. I can't contain it. I have to be rid of it, but how? As if to answer his prayers, Sasuke was rushing him, jumping up hard to strike him with a Chidori again. Static focused half of the energy he had contained within him as of now and blasted it forward, aiming for Sasuke's attacking hand, hoping to cancel both powers out. Sasuke rammed his Chidori into the blast and the powers clashing with so much power and force was too much and it blew, a blast of power pulsing hard and dissipating rapidly, forcing Sasuke back so hard he fell and hit the roof of the tower with great force, knocking himself out and getting bruised as Static had more room in his body to absorb the rest of the energy around him. Static was sparking electricity with great volume as he flew down and grabbed Sasuke, huffing and carrying him to medical. As he entered, he seen everyone look at him in surprise. He threw Sasuke on an empty bed, the last one, and looked at Wonder Girl. He went to her and put a hand to her wound, healing her with his rejuvenating wave, which released more of his electrical power, his body finally stopping from sparking with electrical currents. He was panting. Any more? Beast Boy returned and huffed. No one else is in the tower. These are it. Guess Static took care of the last one. These guys are the same ones who helped the ice guys, right? Raven nodded and Superboy sighed. That's right. So, how do we keep them from escaping? That guy in green is very fat and very strong, and I doubt any of these others are pushovers in their own right. Raven hummed. I could put a spell on them, something to keep them bound and unable to move until I can send them back to their own dimension. Starfire took a deep breath. They are from the same place as Kitsune X. I do not think it is wise to just let them off without questioning. There is more to him than that one person told us. KF was on a table and Static was healing his legs. What guy? You mean there's another of these freaks? Beast Boy huffed. Yes and no. A non-hostile. I say we ask about X before we send them off, like Star said, but as soon as we get the info we need we get rid of them quick. Raven gasped as she felt a spike of energy and looked out the window. Kitsune X. He's fighting too. I feel that demonic power he has again, it's minimal. One tail. That's about it. What's going on? XXX half an hour ago, at Warehouse 17 HXXX. Naruto was just outside. He looked and took a deep breath. Truth be told, he had his doubt, but also wanted to make sure he didn't let on he was worried. As we was walking there, ducking in and out of corners, alleys and taking a scenic route, not to mention teleporting 3 different locations around the city he had his markers hidden around, he felt safe making a few clones to go to Metropolis and scratch through every inch of the city, discreetly and slowly as not to raise any suspicion as he tried to figure out if this was fiction or fact. He opened the doors and walked in. As soon as she did, the lights were on and it was empty from top to bottom. Inside was Ravager. She was standing casually, as if not threatened, and he felt more worried, but kept his cool. He was always good at gambling. Hexunade brought him along a few times when she tried to get the village out of debt. He won her money, she put it to the village kept itself afloat. Naruto stopped 10 feet away, where she put a hand up to stop him, and it held a detonator. Another step. I will press this and you say goodbye to your friends. Now, are you ready to do as I ask for their freedom, or do you need any more incentive to do my little task? Naruto narrowed his eyes. He just knew this was going to be hell for him. He knew one way or another he was going to be pissed off and wanting to kill Ravager. Before or after the tasks, he did not know, but he knew this, he was going to get his friends back before she was punished. He huffed. Fine. But before I do, I want to know, why can't you fight the Titans yourself? Ravager knew he'd ask that, but had to keep her secrets from him. If he knew she could tell the immediate future, she was going to have some trouble. You should know why a normal human being cannot face up against them. After all, they have meta-humans like Superboy, Raven, and Kid Flash, not to mention Wonder Girl and Static. Starfire is even greater in strength and skill as a fighter, more so than ever before. I wouldn't stand a chance, but you've beaten them countless times. It seems best to call in your help on this so I don't go on something like a suicide mission. They wouldn't kill me, but you get the point. Naruto nodded at that. Made sense and all, but this was just bullshit. Alright, next question, how the hell did you know where those 4 were? Ravager was prepared for that. You think I can't hack surveillance devices after hacking communications? Even if I couldn't hear words, I can read lips, so I knew. I just created a surprise ambush when they got to their destination. That one guy after you, the guy with one eye, took my bluff of being strong and able to fight under that drug's effect no matter how relaxed I was. I think you'll fall for this one. Naruto cursed in his mind. This ain't right. Sure, she has a heck of a point, but it's still too surreal for her to have grabbed them up. I think she is bluffing though. I can see her finger is twitching a bit, her foot shifting a bit in anticipation. She's nervous. Subtle. She thinks she can fool me with voice alone. She can keep a hell of a poker face, but I can tell a fucking bluff. Still, go with it for now, until I know for sure. You took out all 4 of them faster than they could cause any damage to fight back. Sounds unbelievable. Ravager smirked. Well, your friends from your own world of ninjas were welcome to helping me out. I had them catch your friends now and then I had them go and try and beat the Titans. They lost, so you'll need to go and beat the Titans for me. This she had seen thanks to the drug, but that was all she got. She didn't know if Naruto would do her bidding or not. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Too convenient. They helped her, but I didn't see illusions. The Sharingan can't see illusions from pictures. Kakashi would know this. AHA. He grinned. His clones poofed and brought back their memories, showing that his friends were alive, safe, even Kid, and still shopping. And poor Kid, carrying all that luggage. I got their game. She makes me submit. They get the Titans for her. Nice deal, but it won't work. Naruto drew his swords and chuckled. Sorry, not buying it. Pictures on video. Nice try, but I am not falling for your bluff. I just needed to stall until you gave away that information for me. Sorry, but you're not using me for anything. Ravager cursed and threw the detonator away, grabbing her katanas. You'll regret this. You should have just submitted. Now I will force pain upon you. Ravage roared and rushed forward, slashing for Naruto, who swung to block the strike, and with this, the fight between Ravager and Kitsune X began.